by Bernie Sanders.
President Trump is touting Liberation Day, which is what he calls Wednesday, when new U.S. reciprocal tariffs go into effect, targeting all countries, he says, that have tariffed American exports.
The tariffs will be far more generous than those countries were to us.
The president on Air Force One last night, flying back to Washington, also said he's considering new tariffs on Iran and Russia. 4 American soldiers remain missing in Lithuania, but the Army vehicle they were in has been pulled from a swamp today.
Poland's been helping out too, sending scuba divers and equipment to assist in the search. The 4 U.S. soldiers and their vehicle went missing at the Pobrade training ground near the border with Belarus last Tuesday.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The search continues for survivors under earthquake level in Burma. More than 1,700 people dead. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Severe storms swept across Indiana. You've got a cloudy sky, and it's 41 in the Circle City. I'm John Herrick. This report is brought to you by Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 9:02. 2 people died in those storms. Casey Fuson is a forecaster at the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
So, yeah, we had a lot of wind damage yesterday. We've got a few spots that might have been tornadic, but we've got some people that are going to go out today and survey a few of those harder hit areas just to determine exactly what happened.
And Fuson says more severe weather is expected Wednesday. All threats are possible. Shots fired near a gas station in northeast Indianapolis Sunday, leaving 2 teenagers injured at the time. IMPD Captain Don Weilhammer says one of them later died at a hospital.
This is on a Sunday of all days, and it's not, the heart of the summer where it's nice and everybody's out, but that is rather concerning.
Weilhammer says one of the kids who was shot managed to limp to a home nearby where someone inside helped them get the help they needed. There was a police chase over the weekend. Jake McDaniel reports it involved a stolen construction vehicle.
NDOT says officers chased that person that was going 4 miles an hour in that vehicle. They drove through I-465 eastbound near East Street as well as I-65 northbound. This slowed traffic down on the interstates as well. Then, nearly an hour later, police say the driver was no longer on the interstate. Not too long before midnight, the chase came to an end on local Indy roadways. NDOT has not said where the chase ended exactly. The name of the suspect has not been reported either. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
$3.13 a gallon is the statewide average for gas today, says Gas Buddy. And a folk rock group might know well is playing in central Indiana this summer. Mumford & Sons will be at the Ruoff Music Center June 17th. That concert is part of a 32-show tour in North America. Tickets go on sale this Friday. And with traffic at 9:04, here's Matt Bear.
Northbound 65 stalled on the exit to West Street, downtown. And this has us backed up through the North Split. And northbound 6570 jam, Michigan Street into the North Split. Northwest side stop-and-go traffic. Northbound 465, 86th Street up to 865. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Best decision I ever made was having Window Nation windows installed in my house, saving me a bunch of money on energy. My old windows were cracked and drafty and letting the air through. Window Nation came in and took care of all that within a day. And you know what? Window Nation windows are high quality and affordable. Right now, you can get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. And you can get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Pay nothing until 2027.
This is the deal you want. 2 windows for free with every 2 that you buy. Plus, 0 interest, 0 payments for 2 years. Pay nothing until 2027. Call a representative at Window Nation right now. They will walk you through the entire process. 866-90-NATION. Get that fast, free estimate right now with Window Nation. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Lots of clouds for the afternoon today. We'll begin to see maybe a little bit of sunshine late today. Temperatures stay into the mid-40s, clearing overnight with lows near freezing. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Sean Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 9:06, time for Kendall and Casey.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Hey, Casey.
Hey, Rob.
How was your weekend?
Well, you know what? I survived the storm that Mother Nature brought. How about you?
Well, I'm fine.
Good.
You...
I will survive the storm that was electronically brought to me.
You sent me your property tax bill. So I guess the Marion County property tax bills have finally arrived. By the way, I've still yet to get mine in the mail. I had to go online and look at what mine was. I don't know what's going on with Hendricks County. I don't know why Marion County could get theirs out, but Hendricks County, maybe I don't get one because I still have a mortgage. Maybe you only get it if you don't have them. Maybe that's the thing.
You don't need to race over and check it out because you know what it's going to be? Higher.
That's right. Although, you say, well, you have a mortgage. I still should get a bill in the mail. I'm paying it. It's not like the mortgage company is just running a soup kitchen, right?
Yeah.
You should still get your property tax bill. But I went online. So I think mine went up $137. I think was the amount that mine went up. And we're now in such a horrible position in the state that I'm like, whoo,
only $137.
You, on the other hand, you did not get off that easy.
So my property tax bill went up 17.2%, increase from last year.
Yikes.
And that is a 34.4% increase from 2021. And I bring up 2021 because that's when Governor Mike Braun said that he wanted to reset the property tax bills. So for those of you doing the math at home, that's $900.
Yeah, I've seen this.
4 years.
I can verify this. I looked at your property tax bill, and I can verify that your bill will now be $900 higher than it was for the 2021 bill assessment 2020. And you, and rightfully so, right? Like, so are you IPS? Are you IPS school? Like your school system sucks.
Correct.
Right? The roads are
there are bath-sized potholes on every road. I actually took a drive yesterday before the storm came because I wanted to see some of these potholes and take some pictures, which I did. And they're just incredible and they're just everywhere. And oh, hey, let's not forget to mention that we have a mayor who is being investigated for allegedly covering up sexual harassment allegations.
That's right.
I mean, it's just the whole thing is wonderful. And I'm really excited to be paying more for property that I've done zero improvements on, by the way, Rob. This week actually marks 3 years since we've been in the house.
Yeah.
And let's not fool anybody. It's not a house. It's a townhouse.
Skyrise.
So
straight up in the air, no lawn.
My land is about the size of a postage stamp.
Yeah.
So I don't even have land that we're talking about. It's just this little area. And 34.4% increase from 2021.
Yeah, and this is what, so Braun is going to be on with Hammer and Nigel this afternoon, or Hammer, because of course Nigel's not here as usual, but Braun's going to be on with Hammer this afternoon. And I really hope, because supposedly Braun and Houston are having some sort of behind the scenes Hey Rube investigate, in negotiations, brawl. And I just hope Braun comes out today and is like, you know what, I've had it with all of you people. Let's just go ahead and clear the calendar for May. You guys are going to pass some garbage, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. I'm going to veto. There's no way they're going to put anything meaningful. I mean, Scott Baldwin, you sent me that article.
Yeah, can we get to this article? So he said that Senate Bill 1 makes changes to provide tax relief for residents.
For who?
While still giving local communities tools to have funding for essential services.
So Scott Baldwin is, to reset, he's a senator from Hamilton County. He's on the
Tax and Fiscal
committee in the Senate that gutted Senate Bill 1. The original bill had all sorts of bill resets that would have provided actual relief. He took that out. And then we, of course, uncovered he's running a construction management company that is making huge money off local government construction contracts that are paid for with property tax dollars.
Correct.
That's who Scott Baldwin is.
Yeah, so he said that Senate Bill 1 did not have broad support. He's talking about broad support within the legislature.
Yeah,
the people definitely wanted the rate reset. They want some relief. But he said he didn't think it had broad support because it cut deeply into local government and schools, so deeply that it was just intolerable in many cases.
It was intolerable for my pocketbook that these cuts be taking place for there. I fixed the quote. It was intolerable for my pocketbook and the company that I run. The bottom line of the company that I run, it was intolerable because then there wouldn't be as much money to pay us to help them build stuff.
Correct. And then he went on to say, and so we listened.
To who?
Correct. He listened to Spen and Sue Finkum, who thinks that whatever she wants in Carmel is going to decide what happens in the rest of the state.
By the way, I know we got this later on in the template. Did you see how much money the city of Carmel, that Carmel was giving to this nonprofit? Did you like
1.2 million in city subsidies over 4 years to support all things Carmel?
It was like a knick-knack shop, wasn't it?
A novelty store.
So Sue Finkum, Spend and Sue, the mayor of Carmel, who, by the way, now the excuse on this is, I love this from the Finkum campaign arm, is she came in and put a stop to this. As though she wasn't on the city council with both of her lips firmly implanted on Brainerd's butt cheeks the entire time when he was mayor, as though she was the Mel Gibson character in Braveheart fighting the city of Carmel on their wasteful spending. No, she didn't say a word about any of this. And now they're trying to rewrite history as though because she canceled the thing, like she's some sort of fiscal warrior. No, she got up in front of all those people, Baldwin and the rest of those guys, and tried to act like something was going to happen to public safety. Then she realized she was getting crushed on social media. She looked like a complete idiot, so she backtracked out of that. Of course, then her council president didn't get the memo, and he put out the post that public safety could be on the chopping block. But now it comes out, 1.2 million. I know we'll do a deeper dive on this later. 1.2 million for a knick-knack shop, but yet we're led to believe police and fire could be in trouble. And Baldwin will say, oh, howdy, I almost said it. Baldwin will say this stuff with a straight face as though something was actually going to happen. So the thing for Braun today, Braun should come out today and said, I'm sick of the crap from these guys. I'm sick of the delays. I'm sick of the screwing around. Let's just go ahead and say now, everyone clear the calendar for May. I know you guys are going to pass something stupid, and so I'll just see you in May. I'm going to veto whatever you do. I mean, he should just say it today.
So back to Baldwin. He said, so we listened.
To who?
And to get that bill to continue, we had to rework it a bit. You mean gut it is what you mean.
Wait. Time. When he acts as though like they had to do what the superintendents and the mayors wanted.
Right.
No, you don't. You could have done whatever you wanted. You're the senator, Senator Baldwin. You vote how you want. You don't have to do what they want. Unless, of course, Senator Baldwin, you want to keep the money flowing into Envoy, that company that you run. Yeah, you're right. If you want to keep the dollars rolling in to the company you run, yeah, you probably did have to rework the bill. But don't act like you had to do it. You did it because you wanted to do it, because you want to keep the people hurting and the dollars flowing to the local governments so they can keep paying you and your company.
It's like, owning something means you have to just keep forking over money for the privilege of keeping it. And let's be real, these property taxes, they never get lower. Governor Braun has tried, but year after year, they just keep getting higher and higher. And what do you get out of it? You get pot-riddled streets, you get bloated local government, and it magically never trickles down to the taxpayers. But Baldwin went on to say, where it's currently at, talking about Senate Bill 1, and you're going to, you may not believe this. This is a direct quote. I forecast that it will get better for local government as it relates to funding opportunities. I would like to invite Senator Baldwin to come over to my house and do an evening walk. I'm sure he won't do it because his luxury vehicle may hit a pothole on his way over, blow a tire. but I'd really like to see what the local governments are doing in Indianapolis, in Marion County, with all of my extra $900 that they're receiving.
And think about this. They just carved out the South Center in the process, I should say, of carving out a massive subsidy to these utility monopolies.
So that bill's going to go up.
Right. You're going to have to pay for their investment into nuclear energy, which we have to have now because of all the power that the data centers are needing to use, which, by the way, some of these data centers now are eligible for 50-year tax abatements and won't pay their full freight for years and years and years and years. But all the water increases that are going to go up because they need so much water to fund them, the electrical increases that are going to go up because all the money that is the electricity that's flowing to these data centers and these mega buildings. Now we got to have this nuclear technology. Well, they've written this sweetheart bill for the utilities where you have to pay for their research and development, whether it succeeds or not. So there's plenty of money to give away. There's plenty of money. There's plenty of time to think about the big utility monopolies, right? There's plenty of time and there's plenty of emphasis on that. But when you're just like, hey, and the, I don't know, we're going to get to a break here, but the ridiculous excuse of, well, governments have felt inflation too. They ain't felt 34%. Inflation is not 34%.
No, it's not.
And it's way past inflation. It's way past inflation. And this idea that they're just lying to her. This is why Braun today has got to just finally put his foot down. I know he's tried to negotiate with these guys. I know he's tried to work with them. You're not getting anything, Mike. You're not going to get anything from these guys. They've laid it out to you that they're not going to get property tax relief. And you got to be a man today. And you got to stand up and say, I'm sick of your crap. I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of the deception. So let's just go ahead and say it today. I'm not signing whatever garbage you're going to hand to me. And so I'm getting ready for the special session in May and just keep shining the light on these people and who they are and how they're insistent upon screwing society over.
A 34% increase on my property tax bill since 2021, 17% increase just in the past year. And let me ask you, do you think that my income has increased 17% in the past year?
You work here? No,
it hasn't. Now, listen, I'm not living beyond my means. I'm not on a retired fixed income. I can swing this. I can do it because I've saved properly. Many people haven't, and they're falling behind on their payments.
But you shouldn't have to. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't be punished for saving properly. You shouldn't have to pay it, Casey. You shouldn't have to because your government is not 34% better. Your government is never held to account. These local governments are never held to account.
And guess what happens if I miss paying my property tax bill?
We're out of here.
Yeah, lien on my house. Yeah. Awesome. Good for you. Hey, good luck with that, kids.
Show's off to a great start today.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Matt Bear knows how to break the traffic press.
I-70 is packed tight. There's a blue Chevy trying to drive the lane, but it's facing tough D from the semi.
Matt Bear sees the openings, finds the best routes, and keeps you moving.
Watch out. 465 Construction is using a wicked zone with cones blocking the right side, forcing everyone into the middle.
Matt Bear traffic.
Complete gridlock in the paint.
Navigating traffic madness.
Fast break on I-69. Hit the gas.
Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
Indiana patients rely on many types of pharmacies to access their medications and critical healthcare services. But a proposal being considered in the Indiana legislature called SB 140 would disrupt access to medications for Indiana patients. SB 140 would impose government mandates blocking access to critical pharmacy options and services in Indiana. Lost access to pharmacy options would directly harm many of Indiana's most vulnerable patients, including patients fighting cancer and heart disease, many of whom rely on specialty pharmacies for their care. SB 140 would even hike costs for Indiana patients by imposing a $10 tax on every prescription filled in the state. That would often fall directly on the patient. Tell your state legislator, protect access to medications, reject higher costs. Put Indiana patients first by voting no on SB 140. Paid for by conservatives for lower healthcare costs.
Only two things in life are certain, death and taxes. How about one more? Switch from Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile to cut your bill in half with Pure Talk. For just $25 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, 5 gigs of data on America's most dependable 5G network. Making the switch, it's simple, fast, and easy. You dial pound 250, you say the keyword Pure Talk, and make the switch. You do it now, you save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, wireless, by Americans, for Americans.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Real quick, Casey, before I talk about this Victoria Sparks, I mean, that was just a disaster over the weekend. Not really her fault, but I did want to point out a little bit later in the show, the 29th was Vietnam Veterans Day.
Yeah.
That's a national thing that was signed into law under President Trump in 2017. And so a little bit later on in the program, we're going to pay tribute because the Vietnam veterans never get the respect they deserve. In the meantime, I have instructed Kevin, as our bumper music for the day, to play songs that are connected in some semblance to the Vietnam War and people who served in Vietnam. So
my father-in-law was one of those people.
And we'll hear all about that. That's coming up later on in the show. So that'll explain our bumper music for today. Okay, so Victoria Sparks had 2 town halls over the weekend.
Yeah, things got a little heated. 500 people showed up in Westfield on Friday, and then the other one was Saturday in Muncie.
Muncie.
Yeah, boy.
You ever been to Muncie?
I've driven through Muncie.
Yeah, you didn't stop, did you? Victoria Sparks should be given credit for. I'm kidding, Muncie. I was just gonna say she'd give credit for stopping in Muncie, but I'm kidding. But
my good friend Courtney lives in Muncie.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I've seen her post that before. Okay, so the left brought, as it was predicted, they brought a whole bunch of people there. I saw at least one person who had to be escorted out by the authorities, and their whole goal was not to look. There's nothing wrong about going to a town hall and expressing your concerns. There's nothing wrong about telling a lawmaker what you think of them. But their goal, very clearly, was to disrupt the proceedings both days. And I guess if that's your standard, that's fine. But this is why the left remains a super minority party in the state. That's why they're losing elections across the country. I mean, at one point she was talking about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his goal
to make America healthy again.
And children specifically.
Right.
And they booed.
They booed. So what does that tell you about the radical left? What, they don't want healthy people?
Well, and you can say, well, he's imposing government or proposing government intervention. The left is not booing because of government intervention. They're booing because they're just crazy people. And even the idea of healthy children, if it's something through Trump and his administration, they're going to give you a piece of their mind. And the media wants to make this out like, oh my gosh, there's all these angry, everyone's turning on Trump. Even in red Indiana, the people are. Look, there are obviously, she is in not a split district anymore. They've gerrymandered it to where she's safer, she being Victoria Sparks, than she was. The 5th Congressional District, it's Hamilton County, as is Delaware County. Basically, Hamilton County, you go north, and that is her district. And it's not a split district like it was anymore. It's probably 55-45. And in a 55-45 district, you're going to be able to get some really passionate, pissed off people of the other party. This was of no surprise to me, but give her credit. Unlike some of these other chickens like Jim Baird or these other Republicans who don't have the cojones to stand up in front of the people who pay their salary, she stood up there. She took the slings and arrows. She largely handled it fine.
And then she went on and won the following day.
Sure. Look, okay, get it out of your system. My question to the left is, what solutions do you have? Because you were just on the ballot. The Biden administration was just on the ballot, and their 4 years were resoundingly rejected by Americans. And anybody who listens to this program with any sense of regularity knows we're not water carriers for Republicans. We're critical of Victoria Sparks all the time. But unless you have better ideas, simply going and being disruptors and agitators is not going to win you any voters.
It's definitely not going to work on her because she just continued on. She had a, as far as Victoria Sparks goes, a calm demeanor. And even through the boos and the shouts and the do your job, she just carried on talking about things that she wanted to talk about. Doge's federal government cuts. Why would you boo that? Government cuts? Boo! I mean, what are you thinking? The whole the protesters were there to disrupt and try to get a reaction. But, I mean, she was talking about Trump's administration as well and everything that he wanted to get done. But one thing I wanted to point out to you, what an auditory assault that must have been to your ears. And I do mean in the physical sense.
But I'll tell you what they did. So they came to the department. Well, if you listen to me, if you don't listen to me, then you will know. If you just came here to scream, we'll probably be able to have a conversation, right?
Yeah, she said, if you're just screaming at me, we're not going to have a conversation. That's going to get nothing done.
Okay, so she did make a few mistakes, though. And if the Republicans are going to have these town halls, which I support them doing, look, you're paid by the people. People can come say whatever they want about you. They pay your salary now. The nutty people out of here, see ya, right? You got to put some guardrails around it, though. And one of the things that I would do if I were having these town halls, which I certainly would if I were an elected representative, is I would make sure the people who are attending have to prove they live in my district. So there were clearly people they caught, like Boone County, et cetera, people who were not in her district who were caught at this thing. You're not going because you're a constituent. You're going because you want to go be an agitator. If you're going to agitate me, I at least want to know that you're a taxpayer in my district. So they've got to get better at who they're ticketing for these things. Obviously, if you're a constituent, you should be able to come and go. They have the ability to do this, but you got to make sure that people who are going are your actual constituents, because you're just taking grief from people who can't vote for or against you, and that seems relatively silly to me.
I thought it was really interesting that after the fact, there were some people on social media who were taking what she said out of context and making some really choice edits to make her sound unreasonable.
So Katz got into it with some guy. I guess, is he the new head of the Democrat Party in Hamilton County? Is that who Katz was going at it with? I don't know. Some guy. There's this clip of Sparks. She's clearly talking, I think, about illegal immigrants being in the country and about their lack of right to due process. If you're committing crimes in this country as an illegal immigrant. The video was taken out of context. They're trying to say, look, she's saying you don't have right to due process. People see through this, though, right? The left lives in this echo chamber where, oh my gosh, see, we got her. See, we took this and we got her. And everybody's going to see this and they're going to be like, oh my gosh. And the average person is not. The average person, by the way, isn't paying attention to any of this. They'll hear about it on the news. They'll go, oh, some Democrats got rowdy at a Victoria Sparks, town hall. Okay, let me go about raising my children now. Like, it is not the needle mover that the left wants it to be.
Somebody got arrested at a town hall, some protester, some agitator. Yeah, that's right along brand with the Democrats.
Can I, by the way, say that yesterday we had that inclement weather, and John Herrick was like one of those guys from Twister. He was just posting videos from all across central Indiana.
It was something. I saw sunshine out the front door and dark clouds out the back door. Watching that front come in was incredible, but he did a great job.
John,
yesterday.
Is your old man still alive? There was a tornado near his, or something that resembled a tornado, very near his residence.
Yeah, it was near his farm. He's got property in western Indiana. But yeah, he and I love this stuff. We love it. And we were getting a plan in place earlier in the day, and he was out at his farm, and he's like, hey, I got this crazy video I can send you. And then he sent it to me, and I was like, are you talking in this? I can barely hear you.
Do you have to strap himself down with a leather strap into pipes that are buried 30 feet under?
So, yes, John Herrick, where can people see these videos that you posted yesterday, because they're fabulous?
Well, we've got them all over our social media pages now, 93 WIBC on X, and, of course, 93 WIBC FM on our Facebook and Instagram pages.
All right, let's take a break. John will have the news. When we come back, we talked about those people that are the startup group. They're doing the Lord's work here in across the state of Indiana. Their mission in life is to get rid of Todd Young.
I know, you like them. You like their mission, don't you?
They're going to spend the next 3
they
years.
Work for you.
Hoosiers for a Conservative Senate is their name, and they've got, while there's not an official candidate yet, they've got a candidate who they said would be great to run against Todd Young. Yeah, and he's a friend of the show. His name is Carlin Yoder, and Carlin's going to join us next. We'll ask him if he'd like to go ahead and make the announcement that he's going to run against Todd Young.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
At this time of the season, every game is a big game.
McConnell steals the inbound, count it, and put Neesmith on the line.
Only 6 more more home games remain to cheer on your blue and gold.
Siakam got it to Turner, who roars to the front of the rim and throws it down with the right hand.
See Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers in action against Domantas Sabonis and the Kings on Monday. Tip-offs at 7. Get your tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers Kings, Monday at 7.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A lot's happened already, and it's not even April yet. Cloudy with some light rain on radar, 42 degrees in downtown Indy. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Several tornado warnings and storm damage reported across Indiana on Sunday.
We've already seen several rounds of severe weather for central Indiana, and we've got more to go. It's only spring. April starts tomorrow, and we've still got through summer for our severe weather season. We might get a little bit of a break next week.
That's meteorologist Casey Fuson at the National Weather Service. So far, at least 2 people have died in Indiana from Sunday storms. The Weather Service is out surveying the damage today. Hitting a Tesla counter-protester with his car in Idaho on Saturday is what one man's accused of doing. The cops say it happened during a protest at a dealership over Tesla CEO Elon Musk being involved with the Department of Government Efficiency. That person who was hit is expected to be okay, while the man accused of hitting him is now facing felony aggravated battery charges. There were also protests outside Tesla dealerships in Indianapolis this weekend. Someone who bought a Powerball ticket in Anaheim, California, has won a jackpot of over $526 million.
We got the jackpot.
That's the moment the owners of the 7-Eleven that sold the ticket found out. The store gets a bonus of $1 million for selling the winning ticket. Someone in Indianapolis also won a lottery prize of nearly $300,000 this weekend. And your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. So far, starting off the day in the red. The Dow is down 295 points at 41,556. The S&P is down 56 points to 5567. And the NASDAQ is down 262 points to 19,194. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Advanced solutions from Comcast Business help turn today's enterprises into engines of modern business. It's how retailers become logistics mastering, supply chain transforming, seamlessly restocking, frictionless paying favorite shopping destinations.
Thank you for shopping.
And how nationwide restaurants become customer focusing, touchscreen ordering,
Second window, please.
rapidly customizing, quick serving eateries. It's how we turn financial firms into market tracking, client servicing, cyber securing economic engines.
Loan approved. Congratulations.
And how hospitals become the patient scanning, data managing, welcome to the worlding, life-changing healthcare facilities that we all depend on. With leading networking and connectivity, advanced cybersecurity, and expert partnership, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities. Restrictions apply.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
As a caregiver, remember it's important to prioritize your own physical, mental, and emotional health. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. In a moment, I'll explain how looking out for yourself isn't about being selfish. It's being sensible.
At Cardon Senior Living Communities, you'll find our teams share a commitment to enhancing the lifestyle and well-being of the people we serve every day at every stage of life.
You simply can't always be the best version of you on this caregiving journey. As cliche as it may sound, connecting with others who share your experience is my #1 recommendation for caregivers. You'll soon realize you're not alone, and in the process, discover a much-needed network of aid and compassion. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Looking for a great deal on a new Lincoln? Come to Tom Roush Lincoln. Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators now $15,000 off and get 0% for 72 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. We look forward to seeing you at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,825. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 57,785. Offers good through March 31st, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Are you thinking this year I want to look and feel better and get my hair back? We Grow Hair Indy can help you do just that. I'm Rob, and I got my hair back at We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews, clinic director, to tell you why I chose them.
For nearly 20 years, we've helped thousands of clients grow their hair back, and we can help you. We're one of only 2 places in the entire country to offer the Artist Robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting.
I got multi-unit hair grafting. I love the results and cannot believe how much hair I got back. I can't recommend them enough. Call right now, 317-522-2995 for a free evaluation. Great technology, great company, great people, great results. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, see my results, and call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Don't you want to say, I got my hair back?
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You know, Casey, what was this, 2 weeks ago, we said there's a new group out there doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, Hoosiers for Conservative Senate.
That's right. They exist to get rid of Todd Young.
The Duke of Spending for what?
Look, people.
Do you have an issue with him or something?
People do charity work in a variety of ways. And so we had Monica Boyer on, and she talked about how they formed this group, and their mission in life is to rid the world of Todd Young. Not like in the flesh, like he would still be breathing. He'd still be a human.
He just wouldn't be a senator for the great state of Indiana.
That's right. He just wouldn't be ruining society for the rest of us.
Right.
And I
know that really bothers you. You're so sad.
I said, well,
Where did that box of Kleenex go?
There's 2 sides to this, right? You gotta one, get rid of Todd Young, but you can find somebody good to replace him.
This is true.
And she said, we got a guy.
Yeah. We got a guy or they got a guy?
Well, society has a guy. Yeah, we're all counting on him. So he's like the superhero we need. Coming soon to a theater near you. Carlin smacks Todd Young around. Carlin Yoder could be the guy to replace Todd Young. Carlin, hello.
Hey, it's good to be here again.
All right, so last time we talked to you, you were battling the school board bill. And before we get into the stuff with Todd Young, where are we at on the making school board races like the rest of the races in the state where you got to put a party affiliation?
Yeah, so that's sitting in the House for a final vote in the chamber. It's looking like we can get it done. It's a very tight vote, which is unfortunate. It should not be a tight vote in the House, but here we are.
What happened to the House? You were in the Senate for years, and you used to be the guys we used to be angry with. Now it's the House. What's going on with the House?
Well, I don't know. I think they've been stretched in a lot of different ways. I think they need to get more cohesive together. The conservatives within the House work together, get some of these things done. I still think the House is a conservative body. Just some of those core members need to work together and get some of these things done, starting with the school board bill.
Do you think it'll pass, though?
I think it'll pass, but it's going to be a tight vote.
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 vote difference out of the 100. So
okay, so you said that they have to work together. Are they not currently working together?
I think what's happening is you have different members really focused on different bills and that are out there that are their pet bills that they want to get done, and so I think some of these bills and ideas start to kind of drift away from each other as they're working on their own concepts, and unfortunately, as a part-time legislature, that's what's going to happen sometimes. So you guys are doing a great job of keeping them on task and
reminding them
like
of
that.
their priorities.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Carlin Yoder's our guest. So Monica Boyer was on with us last week, 2 weeks ago. All these days run together now, and she said, "Hey, we're forming this conservative Hoosiers for Conservative Senate. Our whole goal is to get rid of Todd Young." She said, "I think Carlin would be a good guy." Did you know that they think you'd be a good guy? Like, do they approach you in advance, or are you just reading the internet and you go, "Oh, I guess maybe I'm running for Senate now"?
Well, they have reached out to me. I did sit down with them about a week or 2 ago and discuss my vision for the future of what I think who should be in the U.S. Senate and who should represent Indiana, and shared my thoughts on that, and we had a great discussion.
Are you declaring your candidacy right now?
I am willing to declare that I am working on opening an exploratory committee.
Now that's where you can raise money and do the campaign, not campaigning, but consider campaigning without having to say I'm officially in.
Correct. And, it also helps build that grassroots support that is so strong right now. I've been traveling across the state, going to Lincoln Day dinners, meeting with groups of people, and I've been stunned at the response. And so I think it makes sense to take that next step forward and see where this goes.
Okay, so real quick, to introduce you to people, your background, like you didn't just fall up a turnip truck. You have some experience with state government. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I was elected to the Indiana State Senate back in 2008, served 2 terms. I believe in term limits, so I did my 2 terms.
You went on your own, of your by choice, not by force.
Correct.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I stepped aside after 8 years. That's what I believe in. And but I had an eventful 8 years. I got a lot of stuff done, conservative causes that I really believed in, and so that's really what got me in politics. I had never been involved in politics before that. This guy you may have heard of named Jim Banks ran my first campaign back in 2008. And when
Banks was your underling?
He was my underling, and somehow just shot past me, and now is suddenly a U.S. Senator, and I'm just struggling.
That's the way it usually works, Carlin. That's why you don't give anybody opportunities. They just take full advantage. Casey, go ahead.
So you could say that the two of you have a good working relationship. You mentioned that you were in the state senate for 8 years. So what can people look towards to get an idea of who you are? You mentioned, you have a vision for the state. What is it?
Yeah, you can look at my voting record and see that I was consistently picked as one of the most conservative senators in the state. There was a handful of us, Scott Schneider, Jim Banks, and myself, who were always jockeying, to be the most conservative senator, and that really is my vision. As I look at the U.S. and from a national perspective, we need to do what President Trump has said, and that's put America first again. We have lost touch with doing that. Our spending is out of control. That would be one of the main focuses I have. We have to cut down the debt. We have to get our budget back in shape. We have to quit sending money all over the world while we continue to burn here in the U.S. And so that's some of the things I would really focus on.
Carlin Yoder is our guest. He is considering serving humanity to run against Todd Young in the U.S. Senate. Now, Spendingberg's Cammy, I think it was Cammy, old Cam Savage, came out, and he was very dismissive of the Hoosiers for Conservative Senate, and basically said Cammy said that Spendingberg's got all sorts of now he didn't word it like this, but the finest money lobbyists could give a candidate, and they said they're not really worried about whatever is going to come against him. It seemed very arrogant.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in his response, and also buoyed by his response at the same time. It was a very out of touch response, saying we're not worried. We have $5 million in the bank. Well, I think Richard Lugar probably said the same thing back in the day, and it cost him his seat. So if that's the attitude they have, that they can just spend their way into keeping that seat, Todd Young will lose. I can guarantee you that. And, I don't know Cam well, but he seems like a nice guy. But
does he?
Well, I'm very disappointed in his stance on President Trump. He's referred to him as despicable, a liar, 4-year-old. He's referred to him as a national security threat, and this is the person that Todd Young relies on for his policy advice. And so the Todd Young team is very anti-Trump, and that's really disappointing to see.
Okay, this could be Rob's favorite question of the morning. What areas do you think that Todd Young has not served Hoosiers well?
Well, first and foremost, he has been a burr in the side of President Trump. He came out before this last election and, publicly announced he would never support President Trump, which is inappropriate in my mind, seeing as the vast majority of Hoosiers do support President Trump, and to have a U.S. senator that you put into office refusing to bow to the wishes of Hoosiers, that's a big problem for me. Secondly, he has not found a spending bill he does not like. He
likes the money.
He sends money, and it's usually overseas. We have to get focused on our country and on America. We are spending $2.6 billion in interest every day in America because of the debt we have. That is a stunning number, and yet Todd Young keeps voting to send $40 billion here, $40 billion there over to the Ukraine and other places without us seeing much out of that money. And that's a big problem, and we can do better than that.
He's got a real problem, too, because his adult supervision is about to retire, which is Mitch McConnell.
Correct.
So now that daddy's money won't be flowing in, I mean, he may start with a lot of money, but what difference is that really going to – I mean, does he understand how much people hate him? Like how much the base of his party loathes him?
I was not aware of that until I started doing the circuit, going out and meeting people, and I have been shocked at the amount of people who come up, some who, I would never have guessed, who say quietly, I've got your back, I'm there for you. When are you announcing so I can write a check? That kind of thing.
I wish people would say that to me. When are you announcing so I can write it? Not what I'm announcing, but just when are you announcing?
People just say run, Rob, run, but they never attach
They
money
wouldn't like
to
it if I actually ran, though. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, he's actually considering running, and people are like, please, let me just write you a check.
Yeah. So Carlin Yoder is joining us. What's next for you? You've just announced that you're going to have this exploratory committee.
Yeah, so I'm going to continue traveling across the state, meeting with conservative folks, and continuing to garner support. If I run, this will truly be a grassroots operation. That's how you beat a Todd Young. Todd Young is a guy who the Heritage Group, a very good conservative group, ranks as among the lowest as in conservative ideology in the Senate. I'm going to be out spreading that message and saying we can do better. The state of Indiana has the ability to put a conservative back in this seat, and we need to do it. And so I'm going to spend the next few months doing that, traveling, meeting with people, and sharing my vision for what we need to do.
Well, and the good news for you is he may have $5 million, but Casey and I are worth at least $20 million. So
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Well, thanks for what you're doing with that school board bill and thanks for considering this, because we got to get somebody good running. We got to get somebody who can, we were talking about this before before you came on. You got to find, it's like the porridge is too hot, the porridge is too cold, the porridge is just right. You got to find somebody who can appeal to a broad swath of people, but is conservative, can get the signatures, and can fundraise. So you're straight out of Central Casting. So I don't care if you were an aged potato skin, Carlin, you would be better than Todd Young. So we're all
that's a compliment. I appreciate that.
It is. We got very low standard compared to Todd Young on this show. So thanks for considering doing this, man, and let us know how we can help.
Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, it is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Big Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon. Governor Mike Braun, the latest on your property taxes. Plus, we crown the winner of Hammer and Nigel Records Madness. 93 WIBC.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-518-9137. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137.
Are you thinking this year I want to look and feel better and get my hair back? We Grow Hair Indy can help you do just that. I'm Rob, and I got my hair back at We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews, clinic director, to tell you why I chose them.
For nearly 20 years, we've helped thousands of clients grow their hair back, and we can help you. We're one of only 2 places in the entire country to offer the ARTIS robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting.
I got multi-unit hair grafting. I love the results and cannot believe how much hair I got back. I can't recommend them enough. Call right now, 317-522-2995 for a free evaluation. Great technology, great company, great people, great results. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, see my results, and call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Don't you want to say, I got my hair back?
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
So it's all the number one seeds, Rob, and I know that you and Hammer are probably going to talk about this when he joins us. Actually, you know what? He's not joining us today.
He chickened out.
Yeah.
He lost the bracket challenge, and now he's not showing up today.
That's right. That's right. So, okay, well, let's talk about it then. Final four, you've got Florida playing Auburn, and then Houston playing Duke. The Florida-Auburn game is going to be Saturday at 6:09. The Houston-Duke game will be Saturday at 8:49. You have Houston winning the whole thing.
I do. You're bearing the lead, though, Casey. I won the Degenerates Next Door bracket challenge with Hammer, which means... For
What's
those of
that
you,
mean?
Well, that means, so Hammer and I did a bracket together for our Degenerates Next Door podcast. We had a scoring system, and I'm so good. I don't even really watch a lot of college basketball, but I'm just so good at sports betting that even ahead of the Final Four, I've already won the contest. And that means that Hammer will have to send a tweet with the wording of my choice to the politician of my choice. I think we all know we're going to do Joe Hogsett. I think we all know that.
Yeah, you've decided.
So I have to craft language of that tweet that I want him to send to Joe Hogsett. I'm thinking about something like along these lines. So tell me what you think about this.
Yeah.
At Indy Mayor Joe, I think is his Twitter handle. I'm sorry for ever insinuating you are a raging alcoholic who was in rehab during the riots. You're doing a heck of a job running our city. Crime is totally not out of control. And you and Thomas Carl Cook are 2 wild and crazy guys who I bet are a blast at parties or something like that. Like, what do we think about that?
I like it.
Yeah.
I think that's what you should go with.
And then you're correct. Not only did I win the bracket challenge, but I also do have Houston winning the whole thing. I got them at plus 800. That's 8-1. So there, I now need 2 more wins to get Houston. It's the first bracket challenge I've ever won, Casey.
Really?
All the years
Congratulations.
I've never won. Yes.
You feel good?
Well, I feel good because I was very worried about the ramifications. Like,
you feel good knowing that you don't have to. Well, you're not doing the forced tweet.
Someone like Hammer, who knows what sort of inappropriate things he would have had me say to somebody of his choosing. So I just feel very fortunate to have skated out of that.
So my team, I had picked Maryland and Purdue to get to the final 2. They're clearly out. Do I get to repick?
You can do whatever you want.
Do I get to pick a new team?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to go with Florida.
They're probably the best team. Although this will be fascinating.
All number 1 seeds, right?
Hammer and I were having this conversation yesterday. That'll be interesting to me what the ratings are thus far. Like I'm sure the first week is probably out and you can go see it. But what the ratings have been, because it's been a boring tournament.
Right, there's no Cinderella story, so are you as interested?
Yeah, so it's been a boring
Kind of
tournament.
predictable.
There haven't really been that many. Now the Houston-Purdue game was phenomenal. That was a great game. But there haven't been that many great games. Now the Final Four are the 4 best teams. There's no doubt that the Houston, Duke, Florida, and Auburn are the 4 best teams. And so it'll be fascinating to me to see what the ratings are for the Final Four, given it's been a boring tournament without much storyline, but yet you have 4 super dominant teams now in the Final Four.
I think I heard Tony Katz this morning say something along the lines that the ratings have been up for the games. But what does that tell you that about?
Really?
Yeah. What does this tell you now about the NIL and the transfer portal? If it's the top seeded teams and they're all in, they got the seeds correctly, but now you're going to have just these powerhouses.
Well, that's part of why I wondered how the ratings are doing, because I love this. I just Googled NCAA tournament TV ratings, and I love the first thing from the No It department. NCAA women's tournament first round viewership dips in 2025 without Caitlin Clark driving ratings.
No.
That's the headline from Yahoo.
No kidding.
Now, the Hollywood Reporter, you're right. The Hollywood, this surprises me, but why would they lie? TV ratings, March Madness early rounds hit multi-decade highs for men's bracket. So clearly, I'm just out of touch with humanity. To me, these are boring games. You've got one side, like you're right. The haves with the NIL,
right?
Totally pounding the have-nots. Society just must not care, though.
Must like a winner.
Yeah, it must be not any sort of big deal to people. Drew their biggest audience in more than 30 years for the first 2 rounds. Holy smokes! Sunday's second round games, the men's games have averaged 9.4 million viewers. Wow, that is unbelievable. Well. I'll just sit in my corner and be angry and old, Casey.
Well, or win some money coming up if Houston wins it all. So Donald Trump says that he might run again to be president.
You can't do that.
Third time?
It's not a thing.
We'll talk about it coming up. It's 93 WIBC.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. You may no longer be a husband, but you'll always be a dad. In the divorce process, this comes down to 3 key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Indianapolis area attorneys. 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1250, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
If you think high-quality fine jewelry has to come with a high price tag, think again. PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse in Brownsburg is changing the game with prices up to 70% lower than what you'll find in those big-name jewelry stores and the ones in those strip malls. They have brand-name watches, stunning fine jewelry, custom designs, and local artisans, all at unbeatable prices. So you can browse their expanded selection in a cozy, charming setting of an 1888 farmhouse. Why pay more when you can get the best for less? Visit PA Jewelers, that's at the Farmhouse in Brownsburg today. Check them out at pajewelers.jewelry. Their phone number 317-456-4010. I always say the best accessory is your smile, but something sparkly doesn't hurt.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts will take the world by storm.
The world has never faced a threat this big. And you're gonna help me stop it.
Us?
Why, you got someplace to be?
On May 2nd,
Avengers are gone. No one's coming to save the day.
their time
I think we could be the people that are coming.
has come.
Being a hero, there is no higher calling.
Let's do this.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts. Only theaters May 2nd. This film is not yet rated.
Technology Recyclers is the safe and ethical choice for your computer and electronics recycling. R2 certified, 100% landfill free, guaranteed destruction of data, and absolutely free pickups. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, severe storms across Indiana on Sunday. Now there's the cleanup, what forecasters and Hoosiers say they've experienced so far. Anger at town halls this weekend towards a couple of Hoosier legislators. You'll hear what people are upset about and who they're mad at. And someone bought a lottery ticket and came up a winner this weekend. You'll hear where that happened. Those stories and much more coming up after Fox News Radio at the top of the hour. You are listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
March is ending like it started. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, with another sell-off on Wall Street, where the Dow is dropping almost 200 points in what's been a very negative month, dragging the NASDAQ down about 10% in March. Markets also down in Asia and Europe over tariff concerns as President Trump touts what he calls this Wednesday Liberation Day, when reciprocal U.S. tariffs go into effect on all countries that charge for American exports.
They ripped us off like no country's ever been ripped off in history. And we're going to be much nicer than they were to us, but it's substantial money for the country.
The president also said on Air Force One last night he'd consider more tariffs on Russia over the war in Ukraine. Upset that leader Vladimir Putin called for a new Ukraine government to replace President Zelensky.
He considers Zelensky not credible. He's supposed to be making a deal with him, whether you like him or you don't like him. So I wasn't happy with that.
Now, the president also warned Zelensky not to back out of the rare minerals deal with the U.S., recouping some of the money spent helping Ukraine's military battle Russia. Elon Musk will go to the CIA today, continuing his effort leading Doge to cut government spending, which remains controversial as Democrats call him out of control and Doge unconstitutional, leading to more protests against Tesla, which at times have been destructive. Musk is Tesla's CEO.
You know, there are people at these protests calling for the death of the president and death of me and, I don't know, probably death of others. You know, that's the kind of thing that's not cool.
That was Musk last night in Wisconsin, where he gave away a few $1 million to voters who signed a petition to get rid of activist judges, as Musk campaigns for a Republican Supreme Court candidate in tomorrow's Wisconsin election. They found more bodies in the earthquake rubble in Burma, where state media now says more than 2,000 people have died.
The true number of people killed and injured is thought to be many times the official figures. In several areas, telecommunication damage and travel problems are making it hard to know the scale of the damage.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They've got a lot to sort through. All clear on your radar right now. 42 on Monument Circle. I'm John Herrick. This report is brought to you by Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Damage to cars and property, and at least 2 people have died in Indiana. Ryan Hedrick reports on Sunday storms.
I seen it touch down on the field, and all the power lines over here went pop, 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 pop.
That's Devin Coons talking to Wish TV about what he says was a tornado that moved across his property Sunday in Columbus.
It's hard to just really put into words. It's more or less, you just kind of have the shock factor. Like, you hear about all these horror stories, and to experience it's a whole different story.
And police said 2 people were killed in separate incidents related to the storm on Sunday, one in Valparaiso and the other in Elkhart. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
$3.14 a gallon is the statewide average for gas today, says Gas Buddy. That's down 4 cents from this time last week. Shouting and screaming was heard at a couple of town halls this weekend, where Indiana Republican Congresswoman Victoria Spartz tried to convey her thoughts. She believes this was all orchestrated by the radical left.
We cannot allow Democrats to push this false narrative that it's, that it's cross-section of American people. I don't think most American people would be associated with this chaos. I actually went to a variety of places, and I spent weekend meeting with a lot of constituencies.
That's Spartz speaking this morning with WIBC's Tony Katz. Constituents of Congressman Jim Baird also want answers from him. Nearly 150 people attended a Where's Baird town hall meeting Sunday at the West Lafayette Public Library that was put on by the Greater Lafayette Indivisible Group. Many of those people in attendance say they feel Baird has supported policies that they say are harmful to the community. And someone bought a Hoosier Lottery Cash 5 ticket at a BP gas station in Indianapolis, and they won almost $286,000 on Saturday night. The ticket matched all 5 numbers. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 10:04, Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. Winters are long here in the area, and if you're tired of seeing and feeling that winter weather coming in past your old windows like I was, you need Window Nation. Their high-quality, energy-efficient windows will get rid of those drafts to keep your costly heat inside, lower your monthly utility bills, and keep your home comfortable year-round. And they're affordable, too. Right now, get 2 windows free for every 2 you buy. Plus, with 0 down and no payments or interest for 2 years, you could get new windows installed in 1 day and not pay anything until 2027.
Imagine what you could do with all that extra money in your pocket. Plus, they're guaranteed for life. Don't miss out on your chance to take advantage of the buy 2, get 2 for free promotion, and you don't pay anything until 2027. Schedule your fast free estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Donald Trump said he's not joking, Rob. He's not joking around. Do you believe him?
I think he is a master. Somebody said this a couple years ago who is not a Trump fan, and it's true. They said Donald Trump is the funniest human alive and the most entertaining human alive, and it's absolutely true. And people they're just so, and he knows this, and it's a great position for a guy like this to be in, to know that you are essentially like the puppet master. You can just pull a string and people will respond however you want them to respond based on the thing that you say. And he's done it again. He is not running for president again. He's not running for president again. The people, look, there's going to be Trump fatigue at the end of this term, just like there was the last time. Donald Trump is one of those people, and we've talked about it, where how can I miss you if you won't go away?
Yeah.
Like when he goes away, you miss him, and then he's there and he does his stuff, and by the 4 years, people are going to feel the same way they felt the end of the last 4 years, right? They'll be ready for something different, and he'll be, what will he be, 82 years old at that? I mean, but he knows these people can't help
It's going to push buttons.
He knows these people can't help themselves, so he's going to say it, and they're going to respond to it, and he's just going to laugh his ass off.
Yeah. So he is poking the bear. He told NBC's Kristen Welker that he was not joking about the possibility of serving a third term. And now people are saying, okay, what does he mean by this? Is he going to try and change the Constitution? Or perhaps he means that he'll be a vice president to a presidential J.D. Vance.
But in order to be vice president, don't you have to be eligible to be president of the United States? I mean, could you? I mean, does the Constitution say elected to 2 terms? It does say elected. Is that his theory?
Yeah.
Is it elected to 2 terms, and then his theory is, well, if I'm the vice president, then what, Vance is going to get elected and then just step aside for me?
He'll be the puppet master to J.D. Vance. He'll be pulling
Why
the
would
strings.
you want to? Why would you want to do? It's like this is no.
He claimed that he's got the highest poll numbers of any Republican for the last 100 years, saying that he's very popular and that many people, yes, and that many people would like to see him serve a third term.
Okay, first of all, there wasn't polling.
We're like not
100
even
years.
in 100 days yet.
There wasn't a polling 100 years ago, right? Okay, that I don't think in the days of Hoover they had very accurate polling. But like, isn't this a little? I mean, if you were to take it at face value, I'm not taking it at face value because I think he's just screwing around with people. But would you really want somebody to be president that wants to be president that bad? Like, I want whoever my president is to not want to be the president. So I always thought a guy like Mitch Daniels would have been a good president because he didn't want the job. That's why he was a pretty good governor. He certainly did things
kicking and screaming.
It certainly did things I didn't agree with, but in the aggregate of where Indiana was when he started versus where he ended, we were in a much better place. Those are the sort of people that you want in these positions because they don't need the job. They don't desire to have the job. Their life would be fine without the job. He really sounds like, and part of the charm of Trump in the beginning was, I don't care whether I have this job or not. I'm super rich. I'll just go back to my wonderful life if I don't get it, and I'm going to come in there and kick butt and take names. He really sounds like a guy who really, really, really wants to keep having this job when he does this.
He wants to be invited to the party just so he can decline. That's what it seems like to me.
Well,
he wants to be the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine, and I think you see this with most presidents, when you, okay, so no person shall be elected to the office of president more than twice, right? So that's how a guy like Lyndon Johnson could have theoretically served a third term if he had decided to run again, because he
wasn't elected the first time.
Right, he was right. So, but you see these presidents, and it must be a fairly lonely existence after you've been president, because there's nothing else you're going to do that's going to
top that.
Right. Now, was it John Adams that went back to the legislature after he had been president of the United States? But for the most part, there's these largely ceremonial roles. They serve foundations, scams, if you're the Clintons in their case. They do some, charity work, and again, supposed in the case of the Clintons, and in reality in the case of people like the Bushes. But there's nothing that's ever going to top that high, that pinnacle, that level of importance. And I would guess it would be pretty tough, unless you're personally pretty grounded, to find meaning going forward when you don't have that anymore.
So when he was asked how he would make it to the White House for a third term, he suggested that there are methods to do so. We've got ways. There are methods.
Imagine, okay. Again, I think he's joking, and I think he's screwing around with these people. And he clearly, he says these things, and then what do we do? The top of the hour segment on the #1 rated radio show in the city, we're talking about it, right? Mission accomplished for him. If he hadn't said it, we wouldn't be talking about it. He has his name out there. It's what he wants. But the idea that you would be processing in your head whether it's legal or not, whether, let's say, Vance gets they're going to do the old switcheroo. That's not how that works. So Vance would run. Remember the episode of Seinfeld where Ma and Pa have the cobble store, and then they just disappear, and Jerry goes, okay, Kramer, so your theory was that they spent 40 years building the trust of the community just to steal a couple of pairs of shoes? And Kramer goes, well, apparently. That's like the same thing here. So Vance would run for president. He would quit. Then he would just hand the presidency over to Trump.
Right.
So what? That Trump could then appoint him to be vice president again?
Yeah, no, it's not happening.
It's absurd.
And Trump has recently said that it's too early to think about passing the baton to Vance.
Isn't that also, though, a little concerning, again, whether he means it or not? The premise of this Trump presidency has been guised around, I have no cares left to give. This is the farewell for me, and I'm going to give you everything I've got because I'm not beholden to any sort of re-election anymore. And so you're going to get the best Trump you've ever gotten. You're going to get the most, focused Trump you've ever gotten. And we're in here as Roddy Piper said, I've come here to kick butt and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. But it seems like he's really focused on other stuff.
He just likes to push the limit, just see how far he can get up to that line. But he was talking about money, and he was like, I've still got money. I can use it for another run. Can I? I think I can.
Yeah, well.
He always poses those questions. So CBS News did a poll, and they said that Americans want Trump to focus more on prices and not tariffs, and they do approve of his handling of immigration.
This is a story about balance, and the things that are going well in the public mind for him is his handling of immigration, which is still net positive, and his deportation program is still net positive and popular.
Okay, so only a quarter of Americans feel that his policies are making them financially better off, which means the tariffs are not resonating with people.
Well, it may work out in the end. I don't know, but it's a dumpster fire right now because there's no cohesion to it. There's no vision of how we're going to get where we're going to get. It's like the South Park episode with the underwear gnomes. Something, profit, right? Steal the underwear, something, profit. Well, what's the thing that gets you the profit? They don't reveal that. And with Trump, he's so used to being able to speak things into existence that he's trying to do it here. And when we had Mitch Daniels on a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the property tax thing, we got into the conversation with him about Musk and Doge because he had told Politico, he had said, he did an interview with Adam Wren from Politico. He had said, look, it's not that what Musk is trying to do is bad. There's clearly tons of waste in the federal government, but he needs to go about it in a more precise way. I'm paraphrasing what he said, in a more precise way where you find these low-hanging fruits, you take them one at a time, you get these, you hold them up to the American public, and then you build on top of those things. It will theoretically take you longer to get there, but you will build momentum on these irrefutable wastes that will allow you to go for bigger and bigger and bigger things if your goal is to reform the federal government. He talked about how he did that in the state of Indiana with little things like putting the pennies on the wheels of the tire and whatever after a certain period of time, months, whatever car still had a penny on the wheel of the tire. They sold those cars because he said, look how long these cars go without being used. And so with Trump, I say all this because with Trump, he needs to have a more concise, clear vision of what he's trying to do for the economy, especially when the price of everything is such a front and center issue, and nothing he appears to be doing is having an impact on prices in a positive manner.
So inflation's still a major concern for most people, yet most people, according to the CBS News poll, are still blaming Joe Biden for that. And Trump apparently called NBC's Kristen Welker, and he talked about the tariffs and especially tariffs against Russia. And he said that he's not happy with Putin right now.
Just hours ago, President Trump called me to tell me he is, quote, pissed off with Russia's President Putin and threatened to impose secondary tariffs on Russia's oil. Quote, if Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and if I think it was Russia's fault, which it might not be, but if I think it was Russia's fault, I am going to put secondary tariffs on all oil coming out of Russia. Mr. Trump said 25% tariffs on Russian oil could happen any moment and told me he plans to speak with President Putin this week. The president told me, quote, I was very angry, pissed off when Putin started getting into Zelensky's credibility and started talking about new leadership in Ukraine.
Okay, so then just last night he was talking about Zelensky, and he said that Zelensky's trying to back out of the rare earth deal, and if he does that, Zelensky will have more problems, and that Zelensky and Ukraine, they're never going to be members of NATO, and this is just going back and forth with the rare earth deals. So
Trump speaks too much publicly on this stuff, doesn't he?
Well, it does seem like
he boxes himself in. Because he had that thing with, like, okay, Reagan with the Soviets in the mid to late 80s. They were meeting, they were talking, there would be some public statements, but everything was not a public statement, right? Reagan knew when to bring the hammer down. Reagan knew when to take the foot off the gas. Reagan knew when to have public press conferences, and ultimately he was proven victorious. But with Trump, it's like every day there's something public, and it's like the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, where the fingers are pointing in opposite directions. Yeah, you dumped all over Zelensky publicly. What did you think Putin was going to do? You kind of box yourself in there. We don't get to backpedal out of that now and go, I'm just going to slap another, and you get a tariff, and you get a tariff, and you get a tariff. Like, I think he talks too much publicly.
So according to the CBS News poll, most Americans oppose more tariffs. Do you think that Trump does this because he wants to be transparent, or because he never met a camera he didn't like?
No, I think that's it. I think he lives to be in front of the camera, and there is a time where that actually works. There is a time where you can use the bully pulpit and the public pressure and the power of the presidency and the media that comes with it to help yourself. But when you're doing it every day, it takes away the unique nature of what you're doing. The public doesn't engage the way they should when you're on camera. And I hope it works out for him, but I do not see a clear vision from this guy on what he's trying to do and how he's trying to get it done.
So you said something that they're overusing the phrase "the most important election in history."
Yeah, I'm tired of that.
Yeah, aren't they? They're referring to the Supreme Court election in the state of Wisconsin.
Kind of been overused.
Elon Musk was there over the weekend. He was wearing a cheese head. So we're going to talk about him coming up on 93 WIBC.
Life moves fast.
Another new directive from Donald Trump. President Trump will not be deterred to make our federal government more efficient.
So does the news.
We expect those meetings to take place very soon.
Decisions made today.
I'm not a big fan of the Atlantic.
No threats to national security.
Could impact you tomorrow.
Accountability and transparency.
What's next?
You never know what's going to happen.
Need to know what happened.
We're already tracking it. Stay in the know while you're on the go on 93 WIBC.
If you have a snoring problem or sleep apnea, odds are you have blockage in both your throat and your nose. Now, for those who've gone elsewhere and wonder why their issues aren't getting better, this is where the problem lies. Because the true root of your problem very well may be your nose. We believe we'll find that your nose isn't working the way it should. And once we do get your nose working, your CPAP mask can finally work, or you can lose that CPAP mask altogether. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we offer every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution available, including simple in-office procedures that can get your nose and your throat working properly. It's a simple concept. If you're going to get your best sleep, you have to be able to breathe well.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-298-9383. 800-298-9383.
Get your new garage floor with Comer & Cross. Tony Katz here. And if your garage floor looks lousy, it's got cracks or stains, or if it has a bad epoxy job, or if your patio looks lousy as well, today is the day to call Comer & Cross for your quick and easy estimate at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. We're talking about a Midwest company now here in Indianapolis. And when you have a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor, it's like pulling into a new car showroom every night. These guys are the gold standard. Comer & Cross. It's guaranteed to never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint. And the secret is the process. And their process means you're going to have a quality floor that lasts for years to come. They fix all your cracks and pits perfectly and apply your custom floor in 6 stages. And they're all certified employee pros. No freelancers at Comer & Cross. For your quick and easy Comer & Cross estimate on a new garage floor, patio, or basement this spring, call 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or go to ComerCross.com. COMER. ComerCross.com.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
You keep saying you got something for me.
He was in Wisconsin over the weekend, and he called for the arrest and prosecution of those organizing anti-Tesla protests that took place at approximately 200 Tesla showrooms on Saturday. Elon Musk. And did you hear him say that he also planned on stepping down from Doge in May?
No, I didn't hear that.
He hinted that he may do that.
Huh.
He's had enough?
Well, we've had this conversation before, that if you're someone who is heavily leveraged into Tesla or SpaceX or any of the other things that he's... By the way, he did some maneuver with Twitter where the AI component bought Twitter. He's still the owner, but he did some maneuver with Twitter as well. If you're somebody who's invested in this thing, these guys are supposed to be running, aren't you like, hey...
Get back to your job.
Thank you for your effort on behalf of the taxpayers, but I'd really like to not lose my 401k. Can you get back to like making money for society? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he admitted that he's stretched pretty thin.
Well, yes.
You think?
Yeah. But you get into bed with crazy, right? I mean, that's, Elon Musk is the business equivalent of getting into bed with a complete lunatic, and you know what that ride is going to look like for you. And so I just, again, I come back to they're ignoring the obvious, which is the obvious way to fix the thing that Musk is finding is to pass a budget through reconciliation that addresses all of these things. And the frustrating thing for those of us who care about fiscal sanity is the new budget keeps a lot of these things in place and then adds to the nation's debt and our yearly deficit. What, $4.5 trillion over the next couple of years? Massey said $20 trillion over 10 years. So we don't really care about the things Musk is doing, because if we really cared about the things Musk was doing and finding, we would pass a budget that rectifies that, and then you wouldn't need a Doge anymore.
But he's the boogeyman right now. You got to have someone to be mad at, right? And
that's why these Republicans are fine with him ultimately, because he's taking the attention off of them.
Right.
But what good does it do, Elon Musk, to find the things if you're just going to pass another budget that funds them?
It's kind of like look, told you. Look at all this.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is where the frustration with Trump comes in, which is these are the things he should be focusing on. Right now, his effort should be on how do we pass a budget through reconciliation that gets as close to honestly balancing as we can, preserve some of these tax cuts. But I thought it was interesting that now the rumor is he's going to consider, he's dead set on getting these no tax on tips, which is a horrible public policy. It's a horribly unfair public policy that will further complicate the tax code. It is bad. It is bad on many, many levels. Yet he is, because it's legalized vote buying. He's doing the thing that we're critical of other people for, so we're going to be critical of Trump. It's legalized vote buying. He's giving something to one group, and he's making other people pay for it. And now the rumor is, because they do not want to get this spending under control, that instead of making the cuts necessary, because, and I'm not trying to do super inside baseball here, but you need to understand how this works. It's important. So the reconciliation package that has been started has ranges in it. This is your government and at work, right? There's nothing firm yet. They're all ranges of things that can happen. And if this many tax cuts are found, then you have to find this much in savings. And the fewer tax cuts you have, the fewer savings you have to find. And these committee heads are charged, they call them levers, right? That they turn the levers. Well, instead of, because the Republicans are so repellent against cutting spending, now they're saying, because Trump says, I want this no tax on tips, they're exploring the idea of not cutting income tax for top earners now. And it's like, what are we doing that you're going to further complicate the tax code on one hand with the no tax on tips and a legalized vote buying scheme? And now you're going to say, because we won't cut spending, we're so addicted to the spending that we have to keep the taxes high on the top earners in order to pay for it, because we can't. If a Democrat did this, and this is what's so frustrating about Trump and the blind loyalty to Trump, if a Democrat did what Donald Trump and the Republicans are proposing to do, if you believe the reports that are coming out, we would be losing our minds over that. And yet,
it's okay.
You hardly hear a peep about it because it's Trump doing it. And that is a horrible, horrible way to judge and view your government. And it is a horrible, horrible way to hold your government accountable.
Well, we've said all along that the no tax on tips is picking winners and losers. And let's just reclassify our payment, our income as tips.
Right.
You know?
And until we get past this godlike complex that people have with Trump, where he is this infallible person, and we start holding him and them accountable, none of these problems are going to get solved. Trump's ideas, what he's proposing to do, is not any better than what Biden did. It's just picking different winners and different losers, and it's the same stuff that got us in the same problem. And yet, for some reason, when some guy with an R next to his name, or some guy who wears a red hat with a slogan on it says that we want to act. And by the way, not only do we not push back, we get super angry at people like us who do go, that seems very inconsistent with the way we've described how we want things to be.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. And coming up next, some voicemails from you.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today? Today.
Matt Bear here. Those heavy spring rains are right around the corner. Make sure you're ready for them with a free roof inspection from my friends at Cochran Exteriors. Notice a musty smell inside your attic, shingles curling, or have a leaky problem area? It's time to get it done. Call Cochran Exteriors for a free, no obligation consultation with options to meet your budget with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Get scheduled now before the spring brush. Visit CochranExteriors.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The threats are not over. It's cloudy, but your radar is clear. 42 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Severe weather on the way again this week, says Casey Fuson from the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
There was, I believe, up to golf ball size hail in central Indiana, mainly some wind damage, and I think we had some wind speeds up to at least 70 miles per hour yesterday.
She says the best chance for severe weather this week is on Wednesday. So far, 2 people died in Sunday storms. The U.S. Supreme Court is expected to rule this week on whether the Trump administration can use the Alien Enemies Act for deportations. It's something the Texas Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro brought up at a hearing with the head of the CIA.
Director Ratcliffe, does the intelligence community assess that we are currently at war or being invaded by the nation of Venezuela?
We have no assessment that says that.
That conflicts with the testimony for the director of national intelligence. Tulsi Gabbard told Congress that there are varying intelligence assessments, some of which suggest a link between the Venezuelan government and a violent street gang. Today is Cesar Chavez Day, a federal holiday honoring the late labor leader. Chavez co-founded the United Farm Workers Union along with Dolores Huerta in 1962 to protect the rights of and ensure fair wages for farm workers. Several events are scheduled today, including a march in California. Chavez died back in 1993. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
At this time of the season, every game is a big game.
McConnell steals the inbound, count it, and put Neesmith on the line.
Only 6 more home games remain to cheer on your blue and gold.
Siakam got it to Turner, who roars to the front of the rim and throws it down with the right hand.
See Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers in action against Domantas Sabonis and the Kings on Monday. Tip-offs at 7. Get your tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers Kings, Monday at 7.
Looking for a great deal on a new Lincoln? Come to Tom Roush Lincoln. Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, now $15,000 off, and get 0% for 72 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. We look forward to seeing you at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,825. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 57,785. Offers good through March 31st, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts will take the world by storm.
The world has never faced a threat this big. And you're gonna help me stop it.
Us?
Why, you got someplace to be?
On May 2nd,
Avengers are gone. No one's coming to save the day.
their time
I think we could be the people that are coming.
has come.
Being the hero, there is no higher calling.
Let's do this.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts. Only in theaters May 2nd. This film is not yet rated.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present voicemails.
Would you like to say more words about that topic, Rob?
It's a family program, and I'm not going to waste the voicemail segment on it. I mean, we can do it if you want. Casey wants to desperately to talk about Hooters, and I said, not during the voicemails. It's your time to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Hammer's not here, so in honor of Hammer,
We'll talk about the Hooters.
we can talk about it next if you want.
Okay,
That's fine.
we'll do that. The phone number 317-684-8444. If you'd like to be involved and leave us a question, comment, smart remark, whatever it is. I think somebody is leaving you a fight challenge.
Oh, boy.
Somebody wants to fight Rob.
That seems about right.
They want to fight you.
Why not?
Here's a phone call. It is about your 4-point plan, and it's from our fan. And
Fisher's guy?
Yeah, he wants to take it outside.
Hey, Kendall Casey, it's your old buddy Mike. And yeah, you're right. We need property tax reform. The problem is your plan leaves out 1/3 of the state. So you're telling everybody that rents that they have to pay higher in whatever kind of taxes or fees there are, just so we can finance your houses for you. Still wanting to have that debate if you ever get a chance, or if you're not scared. Bye now.
Your plan, the problem with your plan. I love this. So we did a video. I think WIBC.com posted it. We did it in about 10 minutes, right? We said, like, the premise of the thing was how no one else is presenting a plan other than the two Braun's plan, which was fine, and then the House and Senate were like, no, we need to do some super convoluted plan. We said, here's a simplistic plan. And the key part of this was that realistically could pass the House or the Senate. So this guy's mad that in 3 years you're out of property taxes. Right. So my plan got you completely out of property taxes in 3 years.
Yeah.
It actually it froze assessments, right? And it froze assessments. And it said the state had to come up with a plan to the governor in 1 year, and then they would have 2 years to debate and tinker with that plan. And by the way, then everybody who got an income tax refund, 4.3 million people got property tax, or will get income tax, will get relief of some sort, call it whatever you want. But you basically get a check for $465.
Right.
So my plan froze assessments, got you out of property taxes in 3 years, and put $465 back in your pocket.
Yeah.
And this guy is going to bitch at me because what? Because the renters weren't adequately covered, right? Like, again, the premise.
Correct.
The premise of the thing was to say nobody else is doing something here. We will do something. And this guy's like, well, you know, actually, you're missing one very important caveat here. The renters. What about the renters?
I don't think he quite understands, because he said property taxes are financing your home. Wait, what?
Well, I think he's mad because again, this is why you shouldn't. Homer Simpson once said the lesson is never try. And this is what we're clearly learning, right? Just don't try to have fun with anyone. You'll love this. This is where we're at in our society. So, went to church yesterday, went to the early service up at Life Church up in Noblesville because it was supposed to have bad weather.
Right, and I'm glad that you went, because Micah said that you haven't been in person in the past couple of weeks.
Well,
You've been watching it on the stream or on the TV.
The online services are so good, it's too easy to do that. And I told Gabrielle, I said, we got to go to church in person tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we went to the early service so we could get home ahead of the storms. Susan posted, Micah's wife, said, hey, I'm going to be at the 11 o'clock service if anyone wants to come sit next to me. And I made some joking comment about, I said something about the tickets. It was hard to purchase tickets to the 11 o'clock service. The processing fees are just getting out of hand. Like, clearly funny.
And somebody thought you were serious?
Well, then multiple people, they charge to go to church now. And I just said, I'm just done with humor. I'm done. I'm done even trying to be funny. I'm done trying to make people laugh, because clearly it's just a waste. It's just a colossal waste of my time. It's movie line day on the show. And Mrs. Doubtfire, when he goes to the employment office and she asks him, what do you do? And the little old lady who's running helping run the employment office, he goes, well, I do voices. And she's like, what do you mean you do voices? And he does all these great voices. And she just deadpans and looks at him and goes, do you consider yourself to be funny? And Robin Williams goes, there was a time.
Yeah.
But you have proven today that day has passed. That is me.
That's not today.
I once was considered to be funny, but not anymore. So no fun of any kind.
Not today.
That guy has said no fun of any kind. The people on the Facebook, no fun of any kind. I'll just sit over here and be quiet.
I can't believe people thought you were serious about that one. Okay, so here's another
the processing fees are out of control
for church. Here's another phone call. This one also about property taxes.
Hey, Rob and Casey, it's Mike. So I was looking at my property taxes from 2012. They were $693 a year, and this last bill, I was
I want to say it was 1963 that they went up to.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, how do you like that? Have a good day. I'll see you.
That's a tripling.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't like it at all. I mean, that's the whole point of the rally and the 4-point plan and the banging on the drum that these legislators need to do something about it.
So Braun's on with Hammer today. There is no Nigel, of course. So Braun needs to say today that he's sick of the crap, right? He needs to have a moment today where he just says, these guys have screwed around for long enough. There's no way they're going to produce anything meaningful in the next 4 weeks. They don't want to. I've had enough of this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go ahead and be honest about what's going to happen. You're going to put a bad plan out there. I'm going to veto it, and then we'll see you in May at the special session.
Yeah.
Like, just say it today.
I looked at the schedule last night when I was prepping out the show, and again, there's nothing on the schedule for this week.
That was 2 weeks ago. Thompson had that hearing. Jeff Thompson, head of Ways and Means, had that hearing. And for 2 weeks, they've done nothing?
Right.
What's going on? What's happening? How is that even possible?
I don't know.
This is your government.
Yeah.
But hey, if
Congratulations.
if you're a public utility monopoly, we're going to sprint that guaranteed taxpayer rate increase right to the front of the line so that you can play with nuclear energy for a while.
Congratulations. But, Scott Baldwin had a nice feature article there in the Current.
Scott Baldwin, whose company Envoy makes huge money off local government contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah, property. And he's voting on that.
Where he said that he's forecasting that Senate Bill 1 will get better for local governments.
It will get better.
It's going to get better for them.
It will get better for local governments?
That's what he said.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Quote in the article.
He literally said it will get better for local governments.
They're talking about Senate Bill 1, where it's currently at, I forecast that it will get better for local government.
That means it'll get worse for us. Because it's like a seesaw. When the one side tips in their favor, it tips against the other side.
Yes.
So Braun should, knowing that today, and his people will hear this, he should say that today. Say, these people are not serious people. They're
not
clearly
serious about helping you.
No, that's my point.
Serious about helping themselves.
He would be so much better off to declare that today. He would dominate the media cycle if he just said, I am preparing for the special. He would dominate the media. He would strike first.
Rather than sitting around waiting for what they're going to do, which is clearly nothing.
In Portenville declared me the most powerful radio broadcaster in the state. And as the most powerful radio broadcaster in the state, Braun, I am telling you, say it today. Just say, I'm preparing for a special session in May. You people are not serious about helping the people. I am. I'll see you in May. Just say it today.
Yeah.
You will dominate the news cycle, and the people would love you. They would love you.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And it would be good for Hammer as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not for Nigel, because he's not
Well,
here.
he's not here. Here's another phone call. This one about Victoria Spartz.
Hey, Victoria Spartz is so smart. I love her. I would work for her for free. But in any case, she explained to Tony what due process means. It's a prescribed due process. When our Constitution said due process, the Congress figures out what due process is. So she's real smart when she said that they don't deserve due process. They don't. And the prescription that's added to them when they break our laws and come across our border illegally, they get the due process that they deserve. She's very right about that.
Okay, so she went on to, we talked about this earlier, how somebody took something that she said out of context, and she went on to say that, no, these illegal immigrants, they're not entitled to full due process. Congress provides laws for limited due process and expedited removals.
Yeah, she's 100% right. It's so crazy that the left thinks it's some gotcha moment where they're like, she's not standing up enough for illegal immigrants. The left still thinks, in this state and across this country, that going team illegal immigrant is the way to some path to success. And I don't know. It blows my mind that they cannot get their act together. There's so many things you could hit the Republicans on. There's so many things, and they choose to take these just wacky topics that the public at large does not agree with them on and go, look at this. Yes, everyone's looking. That's why they keep voting for the Republicans.
All right, one more phone call, and this one is from Trucker John.
Hey.
And he's talking about Diego Morales and I believe how it ties into the trucking industry.
Diego being over India thing, and it kind of strips more than just the shady stuff he's doing. There's a lot of people that, like, from India, for example, that come over here, and what they'll do is they'll start these, junk trucking companies for pennies on the dollar, hire, these green card holders or illegal aliens, run, drivers that can't speak the language, don't know the rules of the road, but somehow they're allowed to drive. And these companies, crappy equipment, crappy drivers, and they actually have a death toll now. Look at what happened in Austin, Texas a couple of weeks ago, or in Colorado a few years ago. These companies do untold damage to people's lives and property. And true, the companies will go out of business, but what these owners will do is they'll shut down operations and reopen the company under a different name. And a lot of the companies that are doing this are these owners that are coming through those visa programs. So really, it's a much bigger situation that apparently now Diego is probably going to help take a part in. It concerns me a lot because it's something I'm seeing a lot more of every day out here on the road, and nobody is talking about it except for a couple of guys who keep up on truck driver news, and YouTube pages. And I think it needs to be looked into that that's very possibly what Diego is contributing to. I mean, we all know he's not against getting his hands dirty as long as he can hide it as best he can. I'm probably not wording this in the most eloquent way. It's a concern I've had for a while, and I've been seeing it getting worse out here in 20 years of truck driving.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of conversations going on right now about the transferable CDL licenses.
The Adam Wren from Importantville reported that your boyfriend, Daniel Elliott, a bunch of people want him to run, the treasurer, to run against Diego. So that's a draft Daniel Elliott movement now.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hey, so you want to talk about Hooters when we come back?
Can we?
I mean, like, you're super excited about this, and you're like, why don't you say that on the air? Like, as though I ever have any problem saying
things that cross your mind.
Well, it's not. That's just a reality, right? Like, I things happen the way they happen.
Okay. It's Kendall and Casey.
I have no shame.
It's 93 WIBC.
Big Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon. Governor Mike Braun, the latest on your property taxes. Plus, we crown the winner of Hammer and Nigel Records Madness. 93 WIBC.
Indiana patients rely on many types of pharmacies to access their medications and critical healthcare services. But a proposal being considered in the Indiana legislature called SB 140 would disrupt access to medications for Indiana patients. SB 140 would impose government mandates blocking access to critical pharmacy options and services in Indiana. Lost access to pharmacy options would directly harm many of Indiana's most vulnerable patients, including patients fighting cancer and heart disease, many of whom rely on specialty pharmacies for their care. SB 140 would even hike costs for Indiana patients by imposing a $10 tax on every prescription filled in the state. That would often fall directly on the patient. Tell your state legislator, protect access to medications, reject higher costs. Put Indiana patients first by voting no on SB 140, paid for by conservatives for lower healthcare costs.
Hey guys, it's Rob. Easter season is fast approaching, and this year maybe you're feeling called to something different. Could be a new church home, could be a first church home. Whatever it is, if that's you, check out the place we call home, Life Church. We love many things about Life Church, but one of them right at the tippy top of the list is the sense of community. When you're there, you're so much more than just a number. You are family. Life Church makes you an individual, much more than just a number, and many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church over the years. Met a couple of them yesterday, in fact. Life Church has 4 campuses across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. Great online service as well. Learn more about it on the web, lifechurchin.com.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to that'sareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Weekday mornings at 7:15, the Tony Katz Popcorn Moment. Brought to you by Boer Remodeling. Don't wait any longer for the kitchen you've been dreaming of. Request a consultation at boerremodeling.com.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
There is a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun.
What did I miss?
What do you mean, what'd you miss?
I don't know. I stepped out for a
You were in
second.
the
I came
can
back
for
in.
like the whole break. Everything all right?
Yes, everything's fine.
Okay.
But I come back in, and you look like the cat that ate the canary.
I always look that way.
Uh-huh. What's going on?
No, there's nothing going on.
Okay. You sure? You don't want to tell the
Boy,
class?
paranoia has just gripped you.
No, you just had that look on your face.
I have the same look I always have on my face.
So Hooters is rebranding, and
Wait.
yeah,
What?
Hooters.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
It's rebranding.
Yeah, they're rebranding.
To what? Fine dining?
No. Can you imagine? No, they're just discontinuing their famous bikini nights. This is all part of they're trying to avoid bankruptcy and improve their image.
Wait, so the bikini night was what was periling Hooters towards bankruptcy?
That's what they think.
How is that even possible? What they, because they had to pay out to a winner and there wasn't. Okay, so is it they had to pay out to a winner and the winner it was not attracting the crowds that it once attracted?
I think that may be it.
Okay, very
They
good.
want to make it a little bit easier for
That's
the whole
understandable.
family to come into Hooters,
Oh,
right?
is it? Well, that's different though than okay. Well, the whole family was not coming into Hooters for bikini night, right?
Well, and that's the thing. They're splitting their customer base in half.
But what whole family is coming to Hooters at any time, Casey? What are we doing here?
They're trying to return to a family-friendly roots of good food and service.
Family-friendly roots
yes,
at Hooters?
Yes, it's the re-Hooterization. They want to distance themselves from their risque reputation, Rob.
That's why people go. The risque reputation. Although, is it really in the modern era? Is it really all that risque? Some chick in a tank top,
right?
Is that really all that
Some little
risque?
orange shorts.
Is that where we're at now? I don't. That's not even. That's a PG. That's a you could PG-13 movie. I mean, people with those outfits on. There's not. There. No. That's. I think Hooters' life, sadly, though, may have passed it by. I just don't think it's
run its course.
I think it has.
Yeah. So in 2021, they did a uniform change, and it was criticized for being too revealing compared to their original jogging shorts.
Oh, my gosh.
Uh-huh. And they said that actually worsened their image. So now they're trying to,
I think they're overthinking
move back.
it. I think they're overthinking the whole thing. And it's like when the fast food places try to do the health menu. If I go to McDonald's, I don't want health.
Right.
I want a giant pile of grease and salt. Just sign me up for the grease and the salt.
You don't want the salad?
We all know what's going on in this relationship here. And it's the same thing with the Hooters. Either you're all in or you're all out.
Yeah.
And people who go into Hooters, they know what they're signing up for, and they know the interaction.
And that's why they're signing up for it.
And newsflash, she's not interested in you. Okay? Just like you're buying phony interest, okay? Not, in fact, let me
She's trying to get a bigger tip.
Oh, tip. Okay, thank you. Newsflash, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but about 99% of the time, the waitress or the bartender never interested in you. Never actually interested in you. I know. In a former life, I dated multiple waitresses, and I saw the
From
pile.
Hooters?
Doesn't matter where they were from. They were from law-abiding establishments, Case. And the reality is they would bring home stacks of money. And you know how they did that?
With a smile.
Pretending to be interested. You know what? They don't mention the boyfriend that they have. Why? Because it limits the tip.
Right.
TIP, tip. It limits it. They're not interested in you. They don't go to work to meet men.
Hooters is facing $3 million in debt. And despite
How could they not make a Hooters work? How could it fail?
I mean, I kind of feel like it's like these other restaurants, like the Applebee's and the TGI Fridays, that are just kind of Red Lobster. Their prime has come and gone.
So is this an indictment of the Is Hooters mid-tier dining? Is that what is it? Casual? What do they call that, right? Because Hooters is not on the level of an Applebee's, is it?
Is it?
I don't know. I have not been in a Hooters in many, 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 many years.
Yeah, me either. And that's the problem. Neither is anybody else.
When's the last time you were in a Hooters?
I think the last time I went to Hooters was in 2008.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
You were 7.
I was 13. I went to my friend's house and we were hanging out, and his dad asked us if we wanted to go out to dinner. And so he took us to Hooters.
Wow.
And I remember the waitress, she wrote her name on a napkin for us. And yeah, it was a great dining experience.
Did you know, did you know the premise of what was supposed to be taking place there? Or were
yeah, I knew what I was getting into.
Okay, very good.
It was fun.
Yeah, okay. And this guy, like, I don't mean to pry into your friend's family history, but was the dad married?
He was divorced.
Oh, okay,
yeah, he'd been divorced for a while.
Okay, there you go. So it wasn't like he had to clear it with his wife or
anything.
No,
he was a free man.
Okay, very good. Well, yeah, you've seen like the tilted kilt. Didn't it go away? I think Twin Peaks is still out there.
Same sort of concept.
I just think this is going to sound really weird, and only our show would have a hot take on this.
Please.
I just think and I think it's the same thing with the strip clubs. You've seen a real decline in the strip club business over the past 15 or 20 years.
Because of the internet?
Because of the internet, yes. Yeah. And the crazy thing about strip clubs, and I don't mean to do a deep dive on this, but the reality is the top earners at strip clubs for many years were not the best dancers. Mm-hmm. It was not even the best looking girl at the strip club. It was the girl who could connect with the most amount of patrons because they made their money in, and I'm not even talking about like
personality.
I'm not even talking like a trip to the champagne room. I'm talking about connection in the club where they would just sit there and talk to men, and men were paying for companionship. And now men find that through these online whatever they are, and they don't have to go out and leave their house anymore.
Right. They can have that companionship or that, I don't know, conversation right there.
It's
in the family room.
It's paid
room.
friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's the OnlyFans or whatever this stuff is now. And maybe that's the thing with the Hooters and the tilted kilts and the rest of them. Maybe maybe it's all gone away.
Well, despite their provocative image, Hooters continues to call itself the original American wing joint.
Johnny Cash once said, quoting, was it 9 Inch Nails, right? Everything I know goes away in the end. I hurt myself today.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Your future holds so much potential. The question is, are you planting the right seeds today to make it flourish? At Howard Bailey Financial, we strive to help you create a retirement plan that can adapt to your evolving needs, offering guidance to bring you clarity, confidence, and purpose along the way. Whether you're just beginning or refining your financial strategy, we're here to support you. Let's grow something lasting together. Text GROW to 888-262-1104 to start planning for your future full of possibility. That's GROW to 888-262-1104. Take the first step today. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at We Grow Hair Indie. You know, man, it seems hard to believe, but it's been over 4 years since I made the choice to get my confidence back and call the fine folks at We Grow Hair Indie. And every time I look in the mirror and I see the hair on the top of my head, so glad that I made that choice. So here's how it does work. You call today, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. Darren and the gang, they're top notch. They're going to take a look at what you got going on, and then they'll give you some suggestions on how they might be able to make that a little bit better and help you get your confidence back. Then you make the choice from there. Simple as that. In the meantime, see some other fine folks who made the choice to get their confidence back by heading over to We Grow Hair Indie. WeGrowHairIndie.com. WeGrowHairIndie.com. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students. Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts will take the world by storm.
The world has never faced a threat this big. And you're gonna help me stop it.
Us?
Why, you got someplace to be?
On May 2nd,
Avengers are gone. No one's coming to save the day.
their time
I think we could be the people that are coming.
has come.
Being the hero, there is no higher calling.
Let's do this.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts. Only in theaters May 2nd. This film is not yet rated.
Trust employee owned. B-Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to be.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News Radio, storm surveyors are out assessing the damage from Sunday storms across Indiana. You'll hear what they found so far. There could be more severe weather again this week, what you'll need to know on that. Plus, there were protesters at a Tesla dealership in Indiana. Those stories and more after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's now 11 o'clock.
It's down to a search for one. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 3 of the 4 American soldiers who went missing in Lithuania found dead.
They disappeared early last Tuesday at a military training ground near Lithuania's border with Belarus. Their vehicle was located in a peat bog late last week and finally pulled out this morning. Efforts to locate the 4th member of the crew are still going on.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. The search also continues in Burma and Bangkok for hundreds of people still missing under the rubble of last week's powerful earthquake, now blamed for more than 2,000 deaths. Elon Musk takes his controversial Doge mission to the CIA today, meeting with Director John Ratcliffe.
Musk is leading President Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, responsible for recommending a major reduction to the federal workforce. Musk has met with leaders of other intelligence agencies, including the National Security Agency, to talk about a potential overhaul and reforms. Musk says he believes as much as $1 trillion in government spending can be saved.
Fox's Jared Halpern in the White House. Last night, Musk was in Wisconsin giving away a few $1 million to people who signed a petition to get rid of activist judges as Musk campaigns for a Republican Supreme Court candidate in tomorrow's Wisconsin election.
Just if the people that voted for President Trump simply vote on Tuesday, we will win. That's actually all it takes. Just vote. Boom. Done. Victory.
President Trump looking forward to Wednesday, which he calls Liberation Day, when new reciprocal U.S. tariffs take effect on more imports for all countries that have charged for American exports.
The tariffs will be far more generous than those countries were to us.
The president on Air Force One last night also said looming tariffs on imported cars and trucks and auto parts will boost manufacturing, and companies that build cars in the U.S. will make a lot of money. But worry about tariffs have been hanging over Wall Street. The Dow started the day down big. It's now up about 20 points on the last day of March's month of selling, but the Nasdaq's dropping another 307 points. It's plunged about 10% this month alone. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What all went into Sunday's severe storms. You've got a cloudy sky, and it's 42 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:02. 2 people died in those storms, said the National Weather Service this morning. That's where Casey Fuson is a meteorologist.
So, yeah, we had a lot of wind damage yesterday. We've got a few spots that might have been tornadic, but we've got some people that are going to go out today and survey a few of those harder hit areas just to determine exactly what happened.
And heavy rain is also expected again this week. Jake McDaniel reports.
That heavy rain is likely to happen Wednesday, says Matt Eckhoff, a forecaster at the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
And there could be a couple of inches of rain, and that could lead to localized flooding or even widespread flooding, especially if you're further south, closer to the Ohio River.
Eckhoff says there is a lot to pay attention to, and it doesn't mean the weather is done with you. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And the National Weather Service saying severe weather certainly possible again by Wednesday. If you need to get gas today, Gas Buddy says the statewide average is $3.14 a gallon. Protesters outside a Tesla dealership in Indianapolis say they want to hurt Elon Musk's finances. Chris Davis reports.
It was part of the International Global Day of Action, and it took place not only in Indianapolis, but across the country and in some parts of Europe and Canada.
Things like getting rid of the probationary employees, illegally firing them, it is not saving anything because they've just hired them all back, and now they're putting them on administrative leave so they can fire them again.
John Walters, one of the protesters, talking to our news gathering partners at Wish TV. While there was a lot of horn blowing and shouting, there was no vandalism. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And the Indiana Pacers are back in action tonight. They face the Sacramento Kings at 7 o'clock. Pre-game coverage starting at 6:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. News time, 11:04. Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Best decision I ever made was having Window Nation windows installed in my house, saving me a bunch of money on energy. My old windows were cracked and drafty and letting the air through. Window Nation came in and took care of all that within a day. And you know what? Window Nation windows are high quality and affordable. Right now, you can get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. And you can get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Pay nothing until 2027.
This is the deal you want. 2 windows for free with every 2 that you buy. Plus, 0 interest, 0 payments for 2 years. Pay nothing until 2027. Call a representative at Window Nation right now. They will walk you through the entire process. 866-90-NATION. Get that fast, free estimate right now with Window Nation. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey, I'm gonna need you to step in and help me here because well, you know how I get sometimes, right?
I know how you get.
And I'm starting to get the way I get sometimes.
Are you vibrating?
No.
Veins pulping out of your head?
Not yet. And I think you've seen the personal growth that I've had in the 3+ years that we've been together on how I deal with things that aren't because you know how I am about my stuff, right? You know, I got the OCD. And a little bit neurotic, and so one of the things that and I was very upfront with you about this, and I've been consistent on this, is stuff needs to work in the manner in which it's presented, and then if it's not corrected, if it's a correctable thing, then that's when I start getting, the way that I get sometimes, and I'm now going on a week with something being incorrect and not being corrected, and it's not that it's incorrect, it's that no one's giving me any sort of clear-cut answer, and I keep having to waste my time to try to get it corrected. And so I'm going to need you to maybe we'll just work through this on the air about what the next step should be for me, and you can tell me how I should handle
You're
this.
feeling right now that the appropriate attention is not being paid.
Casey looked at me during the break, and she goes, he's getting the way he gets. Like it was like out of a horror movie, like when the hills have eyes or something.
I can tell.
He's getting the way he gets.
Yeah.
But I've been very
You're
calm.
getting
right?
frustrated.
But I've been very calm.
You have, because normally, I think maybe 3 years ago, where you are right now, you would have already been there.
Well.
So you're, and I think that's probably partially due to your wife.
Yeah.
And your daughter, and just,
Yeah, I mean.
Take a beat. Relax.
Yeah, I mean, I when you've looked into the eyes of a toddler, there's no challenge you can't overcome. Okay, so here's where I'm at with this, and I'm just going to throw it out there because I'm kind of at my wit's end on this. So about 2 months ago, we had recently switched payroll providers here at our company, and that's fine. That happens. And as part of that, there was a fairly decent mistake made on my paycheck.
Same.
And, I'm pretty good with my money, and so it's not like I'm living check to check in the sense of I was not worried my mortgage was not going to be paid that month. I can wait for a mistake to be corrected. But as you may recall, it was a fairly sizable mistake.
Yeah.
And it took quite a while to get the mistake
rectified.
An acknowledgement of how the mistake was going to be fixed, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, and what was frustrating at that is I had identified the mistake.
Right.
I said, here's
This is where it went sideways.
Right. I'm going to hand this to you, you, the people in charge.
You did the work. You
and
figured it out.
You fixed this right here. I'm doing all the legwork. I'm doing the sleuthing of finding out where the mistake was. Now fix this, and it went quite a while without ultimately being corrected. But it did get corrected, and they had acknowledged the thing that I said it was the thing. And I said, thank you. I said that to you a week ago, and this should have just been corrected then. But whatever, got corrected. Well, now fast forward a couple of months later, and once again, the same issue appears to have reared its ugly head, which I don't know how if an issue got corrected in the payroll system, it could be uncorrected.
Right.
But it was uncorrected. Whatever the correction that was made, it was uncorrected. And my paychecks were incorrect again. So this was, we're going on a week now.
Yeah.
The morning I saw the mistake, I knew immediately what it was. I went in, identified the mistake again. I sent the email to the person who I was told was, oh, by the way, I sent it to two people. One was out. Okay, I'm on spring break. Okay, very good. Fine, you're on spring break. That's rather inconvenient, but this other person, I'm not getting an automated message, so I've assumed they're getting the information in question. So I said, look, this mistake happened 2 months ago. You may remember me from such mistakes as payroll 2 months ago. I'm now looking at this telling you somehow this mistake has happened again. Here it is. Can you please advise? So I went like a day and got no response. There was no automated message from this person. No, I'm in Tahiti or I'm on the run from the law or anything like that, which would assume that person would be working or have access to email. You're an HR person, so it's important to have like somebody, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got no response. Sent another email. Finally got a response, something effective where, thanks, I'll look into this. They acknowledge that other people had No. They acknowledge other people had this issue.
Yes, we've heard of this.
Period. That was what got me on the first one, right? And I told you this.
Yeah.
There was no,
I'm going to
look right into this and get back to you. So then I was
That's
like.
going around.
What, like, okay, it's like a Seinfeld episode. You've identified the problem, and you've also said on top of this, other people are having this problem. But I need a follow-up sentence of I'm going to blank. And there was no, I'm going to blank.
Right.
So then I sent another email and said, hey, really sorry to be a bother, but like I'd like to know what's going on with my paycheck. Again, I'm being very polite, very professional, very everything.
Okay.
So then finally I got a response late last week of, I'm talking to the provider about this issue.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, well, here again is the photographic evidence of what I'm telling you. We had this problem before. Here's the photographic evidence of what I'm telling you. I got no response over the weekend.
Okay.
Sent another email Monday. This is day 6 of the issue.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting an automated response from this person.
Oh.
Who now they're on spring break and gone.
Okay.
So now I'm really getting pissed. Because over 6 days, like nobody's making this a priority. Other people are having. I think you may be having an issue as well, right? That you had identified.
Yes, I'm.
Okay, very good. And you're
similar issue.
Okay, so now nobody has. This person has clearly not rectified the issue, which the issue has been. I've given you the issue. Now I'm getting an automated message from you. So now I've emailed the other person who was just on the spring break and said, please help me for the love of God.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at my wit's end on this.
Yeah.
Can somebody just care about this and tell me who made this mistake, how it's being fixed, when it'll be fixed? If you say it's 2 weeks, great. If it's 5 days, fine. Just tell me.
You just want the info.
I want somebody to make this issue a priority because it's happened before.
You just want to be acknowledged. Yes, there was a mistake and we're taking corrective action.
I still have not heard back from that person. So during the commercial break, I went up to the 5th floor to try to find that person. They were not available. Some other nice person who it wasn't even their job was willing to help me and said, maybe you should email another person.
Oh, no.
And I've said at this point, what is going on here? Like, I hate that we're having this discussion, but where else do I have it? Because all I want to know is, what's the issue? How did it happen again? When will it be fixed?
Right.
Like, am I being a jerk for being like, I really would like to know?
No, because that's the basic agreement with employment. You do the work, you get paid. That's the agreement, right?
And
I gave you money and said thank you. What more do you want from me?
And I think the fact that they had said, yes, other people are having this issue as well.
So they're aware that there's an issue, and it's not isolated.
And I have a right to be pissed that this person now is on spring break. They knew I had this issue. There wasn't like some email over the weekend saying, Rob, I'm leaving this in so-and-so's hands. Here's where I've gotten on this.
Right.
This person will finish the path forward. No, they just left.
Right.
So am I starting all over now? Was this passed along to this person? Like, what are we doing here?
And now you got to sit and wait because you don't know.
Right.
You have to start over from step one.
And I'm the wrong person to do that to.
Yeah, you are.
So now I've been, and Casey will back me up on this. I've been incredibly calm through the whole thing.
You've been pretty good. Yeah, you have been pretty good.
Very nice. My patience is running very thin. I'm going to send another email to another person that this lovely lady who it wasn't even her job. The lady who isn't even her job has helped me more than the other people who it is their job.
Let me ask you a question about this. Now, you said you're being very polite.
Yes.
Your emails, they're nice because no matter what you do, people will read text in a negative voice. So you got to pepper it with all sorts of flowery language to make sure they're perceiving it as nice and polite.
Should I read you the email that I sent?
Oh, boy, you want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. This is to the new person.
Okay,
this is to the new person.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
I'm really hoping you can help me. This has been going on for close to a week without any resolution and is getting very frustrating. So-and-so said she was handling it, but now I'm getting an out-of-office email from her. My paycheck appears to be incorrect again. Same issue as last time, incorrect taxes. My base pay was about blank less, and my other check was about blank less, despite being blank more. I'm attaching screenshots from the payroll provider. I've really tried to be patient as I understand these things take time, but could someone please get me an answer on this today? This is the second time in 2 months this has happened.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please let me know if you need any other information.
Okay. Now here's the problem.
Yeah.
You're reading that how you hear it in your head. Right. And it sounds nice. You just want some answers.
Sure.
Now, here's what I want you to do. I should.
Do you want me to read it in the voice with the hate mail music?
I was going to say we should have had Kevin pull up the hate mail music because you can take the exact same words and without hearing your tone, just read the words and it could come across as angry. Do you have the hate mail?
But wait. But what difference does that actually make in terms of the thing being rectified?
Well,
it's been 6 days.
I'm just thinking, I hope you didn't scare somebody away.
No.
You got to work with these people.
I'm not sure I can read this in the hate mail voice. I mean, because I had said.
No, you can.
This is like, please, thank you. I mean, you're not using please and thank you in the hate mail.
I think if you, I need you to role play here. I need you to be angry, Rob.
Oh.
And I need you to read it in your angry voice with the hate mail.
Okay. Ready?
See how it comes across.
Hi, blank. I'm really hoping you can help me. This has been going on for close to a week.
Yeah.
Without any resolution.
Without any resolution.
And it is getting very frustrating.
It's getting very frustrating.
Blank said she was handling it. But now I'm getting an out-of-office email from her. My paycheck appears to be incorrect again.
My paycheck appears to be incorrect again.
Same issue as last time.
Same issue as last time.
Incorrect taxes. My base pay was about blank less, and my other check was about blank less.
Oh, no.
Despite it being blank more. I'm attaching screenshots from the payroll provider.
I'm attaching screenshots.
I really tried to be patient.
I really tried.
As I understand these things can take time. But can someone please get me an answer on this?
Yeah.
Today. This is the second time in 2 months this has happened.
Yikes.
Thank you. Please let me know if you need any other information.
I'm afraid it could be taken.
How? It's a please. Please, thank you. I understand. Like I'm using all the words.
All the words, but you know what? Okay, this is the agreement. You do the work and you get paid for it.
We're on day 6.
That's just the basic agreement.
Day 6.
So
I think we got to day 13 the last time before we had a a rectification. So
Can't
that's our
believe
target.
We're talking about this on the air. Here's the thing, though. I sent an email. I didn't get any response.
Oh, you didn't even get a
at all.
response.
Nothing.
Oh.
Not an automated. Not a receive this, look into it. Not a you're out of luck.
Is this
nothing?
Okay, if you're in the YouTube chat or at Robin Kendall on Twitter, is this normal? Like, does this happen at your work?
I don't think so.
You're
being very patient. I'm proud of you.
I felt like we had to talk about it here because I don't know who else to talk to.
It's good therapy for
Some
you.
lovely lady on the next floor is helping me more than the people who are supposed to be helping me. Whatever the answer is the answer, and it'll be rectified when it'll be rectified.
But you just want that information.
And the leaving thing with the leaving thing without sending me, hey, I'll.
70% of Americans mentally check out 3 days before their vacation starts. They go into vacation mode early. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, why don't we talk about that when we come back?
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
Pushing back on the Signal group chat controversy.
I think it's a witch hunt.
Journalist was mistakenly invited into that chat. Democrats want a full investigation.
Hear the news.
25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States.
Starting April 3rd.
As events happen.
Rain and wind and even tornadoes could happen on Sunday.
The pattern certainly supports it.
We'll happen to be there.
I-70 construction in Hancock County.
Resurfacing.
20-mile stretch without an exit.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
I basically had a perpetual sinus infection where it would clear, get the meds.
And it didn't do anything.
Medications may not really help. They can be a temporary fix instead of trying to find the real root of a breathing triangle problem. And that's Mom chiming in. And what you're about to hear next was a first for Advent.
So my symptoms were the same. We actually had the same procedure on the same day. It was just a matter of, let's just do this. Why put it off?
An in-office procedure at Advent to get you breathing well is very convenient, and you shouldn't put it off because breathing well changes lives.
I do remember the first deep breath.
Oh, I remember that.
The feeling of whoa, this is great.
Since then, breathing has gotten easier. Sleeping has gotten easier.
I came in over 10 years ago when I couldn't breathe ever, and now I can breathe. That's the best way I can put it.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-298-9383. 800-298-9383.
Every day we knock on doors, tell people how they can cut their power bill in half. And get this, most don't even listen. So instead of walking miles knocking on doors, we figured, why not just buy a radio commercial? Look, we get it. Going solar sounds too good to be true. $0 down, 50% off your electric bill, never worrying about rate hikes. Sounds too good to be true, right? But here's the thing, it's not. It's just math. You already pay for electricity every month. Why not pay less and own your power? Most people still ignore this, but not you, right? You're smarter than that. So do what the smart people do. Get a free quote at SaveWithSolarNow.com. It takes 2 minutes, costs you nothing, and might just save you thousands of dollars. See for yourself at SaveWithSolarNow.com.
Trust employee owned. B-Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to be.
But you tell me over and over and over.
Are you feeling burnt out? Do you catch yourself daydreaming about time off? Are you irritable? Are you a little tired? Maybe you're feeling low energy even on the weekend. If you have any of these signs, that means you need a day off.
Oh, hey, I'm off Friday.
Those are signs that you need to take a day off.
Taking Friday off.
You are taking Friday
and then
off.
I'll be here in the flesh Thursday and Friday of next week. But mentally, I'll be at Augusta National, and so you know that going in,
right?
So you just prepare however you need to prepare for that.
Okay.
And I think that is what amazes our audience the most. You will see me on about 25% effort, and how that eclipses 100% of what you get from about 99% of broadcasters. That Masters Week. That Masters Week and U.S. Open Week are really where I put my talents on full display, operating at 25% mental capacity.
So 36% of people get ready for a day off in a day or less. Have you been preparing for a while?
They get ready for a day off. What do you mean you get ready
Like
for a
to
day
go
off?
on vacation, to travel?
Oh, I'm not going on vacation.
No.
I don't leave. You know the rule, Case. I lose my diplomatic immunity if I leave
That's true.
the county line. So I don't.
Is that true?
I don't.
No, it happens if you leave the country. You need a place where free speech is legal.
I'm basically like one of those UN guys where most people recognize me in the greater Hendricks County area. So if I were to be involved in some sort of altercation, they'd know who I was. And while most of the government, like the actual elected people, hate my guts, the government worker people, they like me. So I feel pretty good inside the county lines.
Okay, so you had mentioned in the previous segment how somebody that you're trying to get a hold of is now out of the office and on vacation. And maybe it's because a majority of people mentally check out of work 3 days before they go on vacation.
Wait, what are you saying?
Yeah, they check out. They're already daydreaming about being gone. They just kind of blow off.
So
some
they're
of their
basically just stealing money
responsibilities.
from their company.
Yeah.
I mean, they're taking money, but they're not working for it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
And some people, they actually make mistakes at work right before they go on vacation because, one, they're not focused, and two, they've got vacationitis.
Yeah, like an actual vacation stresses me out. Like, I don't like to be away from my home base. I don't like to be away from the center of the happenings. I know inevitably if I go somewhere, then a whole bunch of things are going to happen, and I'm going to need to be there. That's why I don't do vacations.
You're the only person I know who gets stressed out about going on vacation
Yeah, it's just a lot
rather
of
than
effort.
not
You
having
gotta book
time
it,
off.
all the expenses. I mean, you could just take days off, just like a day here, a day there, go do things, whatever, and then you're back at home base, and it's like the world restarts itself in the same order. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you're looking at me like you are a lunatic.
Well, I think it's...
Kev, you get what I'm saying, right? Like, I mean, if you go on a vacation, the world order is screwed up because you're not home. You don't know what's going on in your town, in your area, in your, like, you don't...
It's hard to restart after.
Yeah, it's like
when
you're
you get back.
gone all that time, and there's it's like some sort of time hop, some sort of time warp where there's this block of time in your world because you have to return to your world when you return from a vacation. See, now it's starting to make sense, right? You leave
I know. It's very hard, especially to come back here and do this job, because if you tune out for a few days, you have to like ramp back up. What did I miss? What's going on in the world?
Doesn't stop for you.
Exactly.
Right.
So for me, there's this, you know how the people who have been abducted by aliens, there's a time void.
Yeah.
For me, there's a time void if I go on vacation. Now, if I only leave for a day, I don't miss that much. I always try to do it on like a Friday.
Yeah, but you'll also listen too.
Exactly.
You'll be at home listening.
I don't have a time void. No, that I would if I go on vacation. So this doesn't resonate with me because I don't do long stretches where I'm not here.
I think there's appropriate.
You leave all the time though, so tell us how it is.
Well, it is hard to ramp back up once you, once you're gone for a few days.
Yeah.
But
is that why your production is so poor upon returning?
Probably. Yeah, you gotta. It is.
It's like a motor, right?
It's
fantastic. It's like starting a
All
motor
the time.
in the winter. You got to get warmed up. Yeah.
But I had a boss who told me once, and this applies, I think, mostly to radio hosts, you got to go have a life outside of the studio because you'll never have anything to talk about once you're back in the studio.
Well, I have a huge life outside of the studio. That's why I like working with you. I only have to work like 4.5 hours a day. And then I don't think about it until I get in the next day. Well, I mean, I do in the sense like I read things that are important to me. Casey has all these stories, though, on the template, and 90% of them I don't care about at all. So I read and think about the things that are important to me, and I will correspond with you on those things. And that makes up the I mean, do you realize that about 80% of the work you do never gets touched?
And then when we get yelled at by our bosses, I can say, hey, man, I put it on the template. It's there.
We've started doing this though.
When
we get lectured for not having enough stories, though, I just do the scoreboard thing now, where I tell them look at the ratings.
Right, there's that.
I mean, okay. So anyway, Cav, you're the most. You take the longest vacations of anyone on this show. Do you? Are you checked out like 3 days ahead of time?
No, I think, well...
Yes, it's okay
yeah,
to say yes.
Yeah, maybe
it's fine.
sometimes I'll head out.
They can't hear us in the hallway anymore, Kevin. No one's listening.
Yeah, maybe sometimes I'll head out a little early just to go home and pack.
Yeah.
Prepare some things.
But I'm saying when you're sitting here, let's say you're leaving on a Thursday, Tuesday, are you even at all engaged in any shape, form, or fashion? It's okay. They can't hear us.
You're counting down.
Well, sometimes I feel like I need to be even more engaged because I want to make... I guess it makes it more justifiable to go on a long vacation. You know what I mean?
Do you ever feel guilty about taking time off?
A little bit.
Really?
But you have the days off. They're yours to take.
That is true. We do get a lot of PTO, so I feel like I have to use it.
That's just been hard to overcome, that guilt feeling. Like, you deserve it. You earned it. It's part of the agreement.
Yeah. My issue is I have to work harder when I'm home. My wife gives me all sorts of stuff to do. You don't give me anything to do. Like, we got to talk about Carmel, this non-profit from Carmel, and how much money they were spending when we come back. Can we do that?
Yep. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey guys, it's Rob. You know, spring is now in full swing. The weather is getting warmer, and it would be the perfect time for you to make an investment in your lawn by calling my friends at Save a Tree, the tree, shrub, and lawn experts. Soon that grass is going to start growing. Weeds are going to be coming with it. And you're looking at that going, do I want to invest all that effort into my lawn for another year? That's where the experts at Save a Tree come in. Save a Tree can get your lawn looking great after some tough winter weather. Guys from Save a Tree came out to my house a couple of weeks ago. Sean, he was awesome, very professional. Gave me some ideas on how to get my lawn looking great this summer. And soon they're going to be putting that plan into action. Just head over to saveatree.com. That's SAVATREE.com. That's SAVATREE.com. And schedule your totally free estimate and evaluation. Save a Tree, the tree, shrub, and lawn experts. Tell them Rob sent you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A busy severe weather season already. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Several tornado warnings and storm damage reported across Indiana on Sunday.
We've already seen several rounds of severe weather for central Indiana, and we've got more to go. It's only spring.
That's meteorologist Casey Fuson at the National Weather Service in Indianapolis. So far, at least 2 people died in Sunday storms, and Fuson believes more storms are possible again on Wednesday, where damaging winds, tornadoes, and heavy rain could all happen. The U.S. Army says the bodies of 3 missing soldiers have been found in Lithuania. Emergency responders are still searching for a 4th. The soldiers went missing during a training mission last week. Locals and tourists alike say they are soaking in the sight of Washington, D.C.'s iconic cherry blossoms, which are now in peak bloom. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The following is sponsored by Bid My Listing. Selling your home? With Ready, the best real estate agents will pay you up front for your listing. 2, 5, as much as $10,000 just for the chance to sell your home. So when you're ready to sell, give us a call and give us the basic information about your property. We'll notify all those smart agents who signed up with Ready, and within 48 hours, they'll be competing to sell your home. Pick the best one, get thousands up front. Call Ready, 888-551-READY. That's 888-551-REDY.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-518-9137. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137. 800-518-9137.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Something happened.
If I still got a job in 2 weeks, we got an event people can come to.
You a little nervous, are you?
No, it's fine. What's the worst that can happen to me? I mean, at this point.
Right, you're already working for free right now. So
it's the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. I'll get an address on this tomorrow, and I'll post all this up. But last year, we did this event with Micah when he was running for lieutenant governor.
Mm-hmm.
The Front Porch Patriots.
Yeah.
Our friends. There are some beautiful, beautiful homes in Meridian Kessler area, and they are a lot of great conservatives that live over there. Some not so conservative people that live over there too. But once a month in the spring and summertime, they have a big event, and it's at these beautiful homes, and you can come, and they have a guest speaker every month. And in May the 5th is going to be Governor Mike Braun will be their featured speaker.
Oh, nice.
And they have food and all sorts of other things. But in April the 14th, it's you and me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's me, and then I invited you.
Right.
I mean,
I
told him you were coming.
Right.
I voluntold you that you would be there.
That's how you texted it to me. Hey, I've got this thing coming up. I told him you were coming. Well, I can't let you go alone, can I?
And then I guess the warm-up act, Carlin is the warm-up act. Carlin Yoder.
He's warming up for us, or
I guess.
we're warming up
well,
for him?
he's listed first, so I would assume that means, we're the main event.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not warming up for him.
Great. And you said what? It's April 14th?
April the 14th. So that is Monday, April 14th. That is the week. I got it the week after the Masters. I'm not doing it the Masters week, but the week after the Masters, Monday, April 14th, 6:30 p.m.
Do we know like what the topic is? I know last year when we did this, it was to promote Micah Beckwith.
Yeah,
becoming lieutenant.
I'm not helping Mike anymore. I'm going in it for myself.
You're
now.
in business for yourself.
I think we're gonna do property taxes.
Okay,
which will be fine.
Sounds
They'll
good.
still be screwing us on property taxes probably by April 14th, so that'll be great. We'll talk about our show.
Right.
We'll. It's free to attend. It's just a great opportunity. They usually have pretty big crowds, too, and these homes are beautiful. So I'll get the address of this for tomorrow, and then I'll let everybody know. But go ahead and just mark April 14th, the Meridian Kessler area. We will, Casey and I will wow you with our charm and charisma, and there'll be food, and it'll be a great time.
So you mentioned property taxes. There's something I wanted to point out to you. This was this article in The Current that was written about Scott Baldwin.
Oh, yes. So
this is state senator.
The Current is a Hamilton County newspaper. It's like the townie newspaper for Hamilton County.
Yeah. Baldwin said that he has daily meetings with Travis Holdman and Jeff Thompson to discuss Senate Bill 1.
Boy, you want to...
Daily meetings.
You want to look up, can you imagine? I mean, that is like the axis of evil. That is Japan and the Germans and the Italians meeting together in terms of how to screw you on property tax. That is the property tax version of Hitler, Mussolini, and I'm not actually comparing them to those people. I'm just saying they're doing it before I say, I cannot believe you. I'm not actually comparing them nor any other person to Adolf Hitler. I'm just saying in terms of wanting to do great damage to your property tax bill, the three of them, boy, howdy, that's
Do you believe they meet every day?
No, I bet those people
daily meetings.
They might text each other.
Daily meetings.
They might text each other, "Hey, how are we going to screw people today? How are we going to ignore those? Why didn't they come to the property tax rally? Baldwin or Thompson?
They could have had their meeting there.
Or who's the other? Holdman? No, Holdman was probably having his nap. I mean, we've seen him at those hearings. He's got to be awakened from his noon nap every time they have to roll him over to the House to testify on a bill. But the other two, I haven't heard that they're.
The article says that he hopes Senate Bill 1 will become a meaningful property tax relief bill for Indiana.
This is awesome. We have an update.
Oh, yeah?
Thank you.
On what?
So I told you that I went upstairs and the lovely lady who wasn't her job gave me somebody else who might be able to help me. And so I sent her a very nice email. Same basically wording, right?
Yeah.
I will forward your concerns to the payroll department as they handle payroll and okay, there you go. Okay.
So there's not really an answer, but it's somebody's going to.
We're moving. We're moving.
Yes, that is.
On resolving my pay
direction.
discrepancy. What's going on with Carmel? What's happening?
Well, they shut down the All Things Carmel store because it received $1.2 million in city subsidies over 4 years. But yet,
wait.
You can't get property tax relief.
Carmel was funding a knick-knack store?
A novelty store.
No way.
Called All Things Carmel. Yes.
No way.
This is true.
No way.
So it increased from $200,000 back in 2020 to $430,000 in 23. City had to cover more than $100,000 in liabilities after closing the store.
Wait. I feel like I missed a step. The city of Carmel was funding a knick-knack store. Like, as in the official city government was like, here's some money for a knick-knack store.
Yeah. Out of the slush fund.
Was this like this is when you go to the Smithsonian or whatever, you get yourself a coffee mug. You get these sort of things like, thanks for coming to Carmel. Thanks for staying in our taxpayer-funded hotel.
Yes,
Make sure to get yourself a taxpayer-funded coffee mug.
Correct. That's it.
So this is wild because Spend and Sue knew about this when she was on the city county council, or the city county council. That's Indianapolis. City council in Carmel. And I don't remember any big hey Rube from her about the knick-knack store. And yet now they're trying to paint her as some sort of hero for shutting it down when she was a Brainerd butt cheek kisser for all those years because she desperately wanted to be the mayor and she knew that path. I mean, she was praising Brainerd when she was running and what a great job he was doing. And now they're trying to say, oh, look at her, she's a hero. But yet they had all this money, well over $1 million in subsidies, right? For this knick-knack store. That would have paid for a lot of police and firemen. My goodness.
This store was operating at a loss since 2020.
Oh, now I got an email from another person. That first person I emailed who I couldn't find. See, we did that segment, and now everybody's on top of it.
Am I going down with you?
Oh, hey, look. Kev can step in. Jerry Lopez is going to be here on Friday.
What's going on?
Look at that. See, we did that segment, and now everybody's on top of it, which is all I wanted. If they say, look, if they come to me and they say, Rob, this is a horrible error, and we're sorry, and it'll be corrected on your next check.
The three-step process, right?
Right? Like,
we made a mistake. We're sorry. We're taking corrective action.
I'm not mad at the error. I got upset at the lack of response, but now we did that segment, and now everybody's on top of it.
What's the other response?
It was, I'm sorry. See, this is great. I'm sorry this keeps happening. I'm reaching out to the payroll right now. It looks like you're correct. It's a tax withholding issue. Hang tight, I'll get you an answer today.
Look at you.
This is great.
Wow.
See? And if they said it'll be, next check, it'll be fixed. Fine. See?
Good for you.
Got to stand up for yourself, Poindexter. Let that be the lesson of today's show. You got to stand up for yourself in life. If you're in a job where something is not going right for you, stand up for yourself.
Don't be afraid. Don't feel guilty taking that time off. Take it.
Somebody's going to do something really stupid at their work today and go, Rob Kendall said I should do it.
Rob told me. Okay.
Now, say I need to promptly respond and say thank you so much.
Good for
I
you.
really
You're getting results.
appreciate
It's
it.
your own Kendall Doge.
That's right. I'm doging myself.
That's right. You are. Did you see that there's a new record for a woman's sports card? We talk about this every now and then, and she's one of your favorites. Caitlin Clark has a rookie card that sold for $366,000.
No way.
Yeah. You think that's a bad investment?
I mean, that's a lot of them. This is like one of those. Is this like an autographed card? It's one of these autographed. Is it a jersey? Is there a jersey with it too, or just the autograph? I think it's just an autograph.
No, it's just the autograph card.
Yeah, I think all these new cards are a colossal waste of investment. Like, think about
Top one of one.
So am I. You don't see me going for $366,000. I just think when you're tied into a niche sport, that's a real danger because the popularity of the niche will not last forever. As we've seen with the women's basketball, that the ratings are way down, the college basketball. What if she gets hurt?
Yeah.
What if she sprains an ankle? I'm not even talking like her career's over. What if she's just out for 3 weeks?
You think the value of the card will go down?
I think that's a huge risk. The Tiger stuff did this. Everybody was all in on the Tiger stuff in the early 2000s. And a lot of people lost their backsides on that because golf is just not popular enough to sustain itself.
It's the all-time highest public sale for any women's sports card.
Hey.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry about Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I saw they lost, and I immediately...
All my teams lost.
I immediately turned to my old man, and I said, Casey is one of 7 people in this country that is just going to be beside herself right now.
Like I was one of 7 people in the country watching that air guitar competition.
We got to go to a break. We got to pay tribute to the troops when we come back.
It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Better stop now. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop.
Big Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon. Governor Mike Braun, the latest on your property taxes. Plus, we crown the winner of Hammer and Nigel Records Madness. 93 WIBC.
Premier Deck Coating, the ultimate deck protection. Who are they? Well, they're a sister company of Rhino Shield, and Premier Deck Coating is the product you need if you're tired of applying the same old stain and paint every couple of years to your deck. It's Terry, Stacy, and David and I have a deck that's probably 25 years old. The countless hours and the money that we spend on maintaining that deck never ends. And then we heard about Premier Deck Coating. Family owned, based right here in Indy, and they are going to completely transform our deck with their special formulated product, which repels moisture, scratch resistant in virtually any color that we want, and backed by a 10-year guarantee. No more spending time staining or painting every year. Premier Deck Coating will keep our deck looking great for years to come. Premier Deck Coating can also do fences and pergolas too. For a free quote, call 317-696-4071 or visit premierdeckcoating.com.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. I'm here with Michaela to talk about water damage. Water damage at your home or business can come from heavy rains, broken or frozen pipes, and countless other ways. Michaela, if someone has a loss due to water, why should they call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local, family-owned Indianapolis company with 39 years experience. We are manning the phones and ready to help 24/7, 365. Michaelis specializes in water damage restoration, is IICRC certified, and will restore your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
I know a big part of getting back to normal is dealing with the insurance company. Can Michaelis help there?
Yes, Michaelis works through the entire process on your behalf to make it easy and give you peace of mind.
If you have water damage, call the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and mold, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. That's 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
You love spring in Indy, so don't spend it painting. Do what your neighbor Mike did. He called Rhino Shield.
Our home is basically a contemporary, and we just started noticing that the paint was just fading and just looked like garbage. We had received a postcard from Rhino Shield, and we decided to take a look at it.
Rhino Shield's formulated for our specific climate here in Indiana.
The process with Rhino Shield and their crew, they were just very conscientious. We had problems in the past with painters. They leave debris and everything. Well, we didn't have that with Rhino Shield.
Way better than paint, backed by a 25-year warranty. Right now, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
The thing about Rhino Shield, the heat gain has been reduced, and we save $70 a month. You don't hear that about any type of paint.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could beat lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Thinning hair? This year, grow your hair back like I did. Call 317-522-2995 or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Cigarettes and a bottle of beer. This poem that I wrote for you. It's Blackstone and these hot teas.
Casey, can I have a moment of personal privilege?
Sure, absolutely. It's half your show.
It is the Kendall and Casey show, by the way. I'm Rob. That's Casey. Saturday was March the 29th, so obviously we were not here.
Correct.
And March the 29th is Vietnam Veterans Day.
Yeah. It's a day meant to recognize and thank and honor U.S. military
And
veterans.
so I just wanted to take a moment and recognize those people. And by the way, they chose March the 29th because I believe March 29th, 1973 was the day the United States Military Assistance Command was disabled. And so, and it's the day the last U.S. combat troops departed Vietnam. The Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act was signed in 2017 by President Trump, and it marked March the 29th as Vietnam Veterans Day. And, one of the things that is really shameful about this country is how those veterans were treated.
When they came home.
Yeah. So many of those people had no choice in the matter.
Mm-hmm.
They were drafted into service. They served their nation at a calling. Whether you agree with that calling or not, these people did throughout the history of this country, people have raised their hand and said, I will be a part of this process. And those people did nothing wrong. They simply, whether you agree with the Vietnam War or not, and there's a strong case, I think, in hindsight to be made that it didn't serve much of a purpose for the history of this nation. And a lot of those people, I think you could make a compelling case, needlessly perished, much like the Iraq War.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, the soldiers are not to blame. These people are patriots, and they are heroes, and they were willing to do whatever they were called to do. And the way they were treated when they came home, a lot of people should be very ashamed of themselves about how those people were judged, and in some cases spat on, and all sorts of things. Those people did absolutely nothing wrong, and it is important to recognize their service.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C.?
I have not, but the bumper music we came into was a song called "The Wall" by Bruce Springsteen,
Mm-hmm.
and it is about the Vietnam Veterans Memorial and a person who has lost a loved one in the Vietnam War or a friend, and they go every year to the Vietnam War Memorial in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And the Wall,
Yeah.
as it's known.
Mhm.
And I've just heard it's an incredible sight.
It's very solemn when you go there, and there are always, no matter what time of year it is, there are always flowers laying there for someone. 58,281 names are engraved in that Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall. And if you ever get the opportunity, I highly recommend that you go and visit that and just, pay tribute to those people.
It is fascinating, too, how a World War II vet, and for those that are still living,
Mm-hmm.
no matter where they go, and has been this way their entire lives, and my grandfather was one, and I recognize this from the time I was a little kid. When people found out you were a World War II vet, people stood up straight, they saluted, they said, thank you for your service, hey, first in line, concerts and buffets, right? And yet the Vietnam vets, in many cases, were not given that treatment, and they're no less brave or patriotic than the World War II vets. And we act like they had a choice in many cases in the matter, and they did not have a choice in the matter. They were, in many cases, mandated by their country. You will go and you will do this.
Drafted live on TV, right? Yeah. It's incredible the difference in how they were received when they returned home from war versus other wars, like you had mentioned. And, I was born just a few years before you, and I can recall growing up as a child. That was, I don't want to say a shadow or a cloud, but it was something you were very much aware of when you were growing up in the 70s. And it was actually the Vietnam War was the turning point in my parents when they stopped watching the evening news.
Wow.
That used to be the thing. You would sit down for dinner and then you would watch the evening news. And that's when they stopped watching it because of all the things that, you would see.
It's so wild, too, because for my parents' generation, now my parents were in college during the high school and college during the Vietnam War. So thankfully for them, for me, for our family, they were not drafted. And obviously, my mom would not have been eligible to be drafted. But I'm saying for my father, he was not eligible to be drafted because he was still a college student at the time. My uncle was eligible. He served in the military, but he was in Germany at the time. But I think about for their generation, like that was the defining thing, and it so gutted that generation. And then for my generation, it was almost a similar thing with the Iraq War.
Right.
About how I was the same age at the start of and the crescendo of the Iraq War as they were during the Vietnam War. And I saw my friends come home. Now, there was no draft for the Iraq War, unlike there was a draft for the Vietnam War. But I saw many friends who, thankfully, even though they lived to come home, the things they saw, the things they experienced, they were never the same either. And again, you're just talking about people who raised their hand and said, I will serve my country. And yet, when you compare Iraq War II to how Iraq War I, if you say I was in the Persian Gulf War, if I freed Kuwait, man, again, people stand up straight and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you for your service. And boy, what a great day for America. And then if you're like, well, I was in the second Iraq War, they're like, eh. And it's really disheartening because it's that selfless sacrifice and patriotism that has made this country the freest, most amazing place in the history of man. And we should salute all of our veterans, no matter what conflict they had. You know, it's always a misfortune if you've got to go abroad and fight in a foreign land. But no matter what conflict you had the misfortune of having to put your life on the line for.
My father-in-law served in that war. And
which one?
Vietnam.
Vietnam, yeah.
Yeah, he was on a Navy ship.
Jim's dad.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's a veteran.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he wasn't in country, but he was off the shores of the country. And he's proud of his service, and he absolutely should be. He put the full 20 in, and you can't have a conversation with him without knowing.
Yeah.
That's a part of who he is, and it always will be.
So I wanted to, since we didn't get a chance to get to it because the March 29th was Saturday, the Vietnam veterans never get the respect they deserve. They never get the thank yous they deserve. So if you are a Vietnam veteran or you know one, please thank them on behalf of the Kendall and Casey Show. Let them know at least 9 to noon here on WIBC that your service is not forgotten. It is very much appreciated. And for those who were not blessed to come home, you are not forgotten either. And your life and your service, even all these years later, it still matters to us.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
This Easter, come join us at Life Church as we celebrate the unstoppable power of God. The resurrection of Jesus is more than just the greatest story ever told. It's the greatest miracle ever experienced, and it's for all of us. You're going to feel right at home with our friendly community, our passionate worship, and a life-changing message. Our kids ministry will make it a special day for your kiddos too. So discover the life-changing power of Jesus this Easter Sunday. Visit lifechurchin.com for service times and locations.
Hi, friends. This is Patty Spittler with Pet Pals TV. You know, I'm very comfortable in front of the camera, but the telephone can intimidate me. Because of my hearing loss, I can't hear well on a regular telephone. Now, with my caption telephone, I'm making contacts in a busy world. My caption telephone through Relay Indiana allows me to read what the other person is saying. Go to RelayIndiana.com to learn more about the caption telephone. Read what you're hearing.
Best are us when dreams don't get in. Best are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
Best are us when dreams don't get in. Best are us.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts will take the world by storm.
The world has never faced a threat this big. And you're gonna help me stop it.
Us?
Why, you got someplace to be?
On May 2nd,
Avengers are gone. No one's coming to save the day.
their time
I think we could be the people that are coming.
has come.
Being the hero, there is no higher calling.
Let's do this.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts. Only in theaters May 2nd. This film is not yet rated.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with a free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
The Attorney General's Office, reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every week. Visit indianaunclaimed.gov or text money to 46220 today.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
Might be best to keep your eye on the sky. You've got a cloudy sky right now, and it's 44 degrees in the Circle City. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. Severe storms have caused issues all across Indiana lately. Ryan Hedrick breaks it down.
So, yeah, we had a lot of wind damage yesterday.
Casey Fuson is a forecaster at the National Weather Service Indianapolis. She says more of that rough weather is on the way. It'll be here Wednesday.
We're thinking it's going to be sometime afternoon into the overnight hours.
She says we've already seen lots of damage from severe storms this season.
April starts tomorrow, and we've still got through summer.
All threats are on the table Wednesday. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
So far, at least 2 people have died in Sunday's severe weather. When severe weather like this happens, out come the scammers.
Watch out for are those ones that may come from out of state. If they're trying to use high-pressure sales tactics to get you to hire them right then and there, or they want you to pay everything up front. And this is why getting multiple quotes is really important.
Jennifer Adamani with the Better Business Bureau of Central Indiana says you need to know all of the conditions of your home, so if a scammer tries to push something on you, you're less likely to get duped. Shots fired near a gas station in northeast Indianapolis Sunday night, leaving 2 teenagers injured at the time. One of them later died at a hospital. A police chase in Indianapolis was slower than you might think, and there was a stolen construction vehicle. Jake McDaniel reports.
Officers chased the person in that stolen vehicle on I-465 eastbound, just near East Street in Indianapolis. They also ran through I-65 northbound late Saturday around 9:30. State police say that vehicle was not on the interstate anymore nearly an hour later. Then before 11:30 that night, officers say the chase came to an end on local Indy roadways, though INDOT has not said where exactly the chase ended. After the chase, though, authorities took that person